Harrisonburg versus Charlottesville Part 2 here in 2023 on the campus of James Madison University. The Tom Sox look to move into a tie for first place atop the Valley League against the 4-2 Harrisonburg Turks here on a beautiful Friday night in Central Virginia. Good evening, everybody. Welcome in to this audio-only presentation of Tom Sox Baseball. I'm Nathan Schwartz, joined by Alex ROCCO. And Alex, a really tight match between these two teams less than a week ago. Tom Sox looking to even up the season series tonight.
That's exactly right, Nathan. And the Turks came to Charlottesville and came away with a 4-2 victory. That game went down to the wire. It was a 2-2 battle from what seemed from the first pitch to basically the last pitch. Charlottesville scored 2 runs in the bottom of the second to even the score up at 2 apiece. And then from that moment on to Jose Perez's clutch hit in the top of the ninth, it was a 2-2 ball game. A lot of great pitching in that contest. But both of these teams offensively are swinging the bat at a really good pace right now, and I'm going to be very interested in seeing how these bats translate to facing a good pitching staff.
It's a lot of moving pieces, especially in the starting lineup for the Tom Sox today. Let's get into that real quick. Leading off, the center fielder from the University of Georgia, Justin Thomas, has been in that leadoff spot all season long. Kyle Edwards, Old Dominion shortstop, will bat second. Hollis Porter will do the DHing tonight from Mississippi State. Connor Hanks from Notre Dame will be at first. David Wiley, being his Tom Sox debut, will be in right field. He's from Wofford. Josh Tate, also from Georgia, he is batting sixth at second. Bryce Martinez, another Wofford baseball player, making his Tom Sox debut. He'll be at third tonight. KJ Alexander alternating with Jake Bennett. He'll be behind home plate tonight. And Sergio Rivera will be in left, facing the junior right-hander from Davidson, Miles Jamison.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this Tom Sox lineup. They've really been swinging the bat extremely well, especially in that last contest of theirs. Come away with a 10-9 victory. They are without Henry Ford, but look for guys like Josh Tate, Justin Thomas, and Kyle Edwards to fill in the gaps.
Henry Ford broke his thumb on Tuesday night back home in Charlottesville, was doing so good over his first 4 games in a Tom Sox uniform. As the first pitch of the night is lined into right center field, that's going to get down for extra bases. Thomas will slide into second base. It's a leadoff double on the first pitch for the Bulldog, and the Tom Sox are cooking something quickly here in the first.
Well, Justin Thomas wasting no time, hopping on the first pitch from Jamison there and lining it right into the right center field gap. And if you look back for Thomas, he had his first multi-hit game of the season at Woodstock just a game ago, and continuing his hot hitting right there, he has now reached base in every single game in a Tom Sox uniform.
It's the first extra base hit of the season for Thomas, was hitting .208 coming into the game. Now Kyle Edwards right off the jump with an RBI opportunity. Takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. And Alex Jamison only has 1 appearance on the season, but that came against Charlottesville last week.
That's exactly right, and Jamison picked up the win in that game. Only went an inning, walked 1, struck out 1, but looked good in that inning. Let's see what he can bring against the Tom Sox lineup here today.
Thomas dancing off a second to 1-0 to Edwards upstairs for ball 2. And this is a Tom Sox team that loves to run. Already 33 stolen bases in the first 6 games of the season. That is a team record. They've already stolen 6 or more bases 4 times in those 6 games.
Lyndon Coleman's teams like to run, and this Tom Sox team is no different. It really helps because they're a bunch of really solid hitters at the plate. They work the counts, they draw walks, and when you walk a guy, depending on whether it's Kyle Edwards, Sergio Rivera, Josh Tate, they could be on third in 2 pitches.
Edwards takes the 2-0 fastball inside for ball 1, and Kyle's been nothing short of spectacular for the Tom Sox in his return this season, hitting .333 over the first 6 games, 3 RBI as well. 2-1 from Jamison. Fastball fouled out of the stadium, and it'll even the count at 2 apiece. And with a lot of changes in this lineup, it's good to see some stability in the top 3.
Exactly right. This top 2, especially with Thomas and Edwards, hasn't changed the entire year. And you mentioned just how good Kyle Edwards has been this year. He had 4 hits against Culpeper, the first Tom Sox to do so this year. Also had two doubles that game. But just also offensively, he is really swinging a hot bat.
Edwards sends one into shallow left center. It'll be Aiden Alexander coming in to make the catch for out number 1. Beautiful Friday night here at James Madison. a little bit of the dimensions. 320 down the left and right field line, 400 to straightaway center field. Don't know the left and right center field dimensions, but a pretty even ballpark across the board. If I had to guess, probably about 370 to either one of the gaps. But now Hollis Porter will step in. He's doing the designated hitting tonight. He's kind of been all over the field so far for Charlottesville over the first week. Now gets his first at-bat tonight, and he takes it outside for ball one.
Porter's given this Tom Sock team a lot of versatility, as you mentioned. Can play first, can play right field, getting the DH start tonight, but he's really been swinging a hot bat as of late, now hitting .333 on the season.
Thomas remains on second. The 1-0 slider in there for strike one to Hollis Porter. Did not play at all this year with Mississippi State. He was 1 for 4 against Harrisonburg on Saturday. Not a lot of hits in that game for the Tom Sox. Sergio Rivera had the lone RBI for Charlottesville in that one. 1-1 nearly gets away from Gunnett Carlson behind home plate, but he keeps it in front to put Porter back ahead 2-1. Lyndon Coleman, in his first season as head coach of the Tom Sox, he's also the first base coach and does the pitching coach duties as well. He's kind of a do-it-all kind of coach, as the 2-1 is also outside, so the count moves to 3-1, but he's got this team in a really good spot to start, Alex.
That's exactly right, and this team was struggling after the first 3 games of the year, and they were 1-2, but they've really started to rally together, and when they've gotten new players, like their Notre Dame guys, the Northwestern guys, they've all sort of gelled together, and Lyndon Coleman has this team playing extremely well.
Loves to talk to a lot of the players during an at-bat. He'll come away from that coaching box at first base and talk to the guys in the dugout and let them know what he's seeing from his point of view. He's also guiding Justin Thomas over there at second base about a potential back pick. There was a check over there just a moment ago. So the count remains 3 balls and 1 strike to Hollis Porter. The pitch. It's outside for ball 4. Thomas swipes third. Nearly gets away from Ty Gill over there at third base, but it'll be a walk for Hollis Porter. And then the stolen base, the 34th of the season for Charlottesville, puts runners on the corners with 1 out.
First off, a nice job by Hollis Porter working the walk. Jamison just couldn't find the strike zone in that at-bat, and Porter didn't expand his zone. And then we talked about it in the intro, just Lyndon Coleman's teams love to run, and just like that, Justin Thomas taking off, getting an excellent jump there and making it to third. Really uncontested.
First pitch to Connor Hinks is down low for ball 1. He's another guy that can play both corners of the infield. He was playing third base the other night at Woodstock. He gets the start at first base tonight, and he takes the 1-0 outside for ball 2. So Jamison having a little bit of trouble finding the zone early.
It looks like Jamison is just trying to force his way into the strike zone and aiming his pitches rather than just letting loose and firing. And he's just sort of trying to paint the corners there, and he's not having success.
Well, keeps trying to go to that outside corner with the 2-seam fastball. He misses again there, so a 3-0 count to Connor Hinks with David Wiley, the new right fielder for Charlottesville, in the on-deck circle. You get a chance with the bases juiced. Here's the 3-0, and that one's in the dirt for ball 4. So back-to-back walks worked by Charlottesville. A 5-pitch walk to Porter, a 4-pitch walk to Hinks. And now the bases are loaded with 1 out for Wiley. And we're going to get a pitching or mound visit here for Jamison, making just his second appearance of the season.
Yeah, Jamison just really a struggle to find the strike zone in the last 2 at-bats to Porter and Hinks. Like I said before, was just trying to aim his pitches, and when you're out on the bump there, you just want to let back and fire, and that's when pitchers are at their best, when they're not thinking and they're just they're just firing. But this is a big spot now for the newest Tom Sock and David Wiley here, coming up 1 out with the bases loaded. Got the bags juice, and he had a lot of success in his collegiate season this year, hitting .308 in 45 games started, 4 home runs, 45 RBIs. Also tacked on 9 stolen bases and strikes out and walks at an almost even rate. So he had a lot of success hitting the ball. Let's see if that can translate into his summer season with the Tom Sox.
So bases loaded, 1 out here in the top of the first. Thomas led us off with a double on the first pitch. Porter and Hinks have worked back-to-back walks. They're at second and first respectively, with Thomas at third base. Wiley in the box. The first pitch nearly clips him on the elbow guard, but he gets out of the way, and it'll be ball 1. believe that was the 6th consecutive ball thrown by Miles Jamison here in this top half of the first inning. Nobody warming up quite yet for Harrisonburg. 1-0 to Wiley. Takes that slider in there for strike one. Got to be red light until you get a couple strikes at least, but that one a little bit of a questionable call.
Well, after not finding the strike zone for 6 straight pitches, of course, Wiley's going to have to take one. Got the benefit of the doubt on the call there, but a good eye by Wiley.
1-1 delivery, and that drills Wiley in the back. Jamison issues 2 walks and then hits the newest Tom Sock, Wiley, and it drives in a run. Charlottesville strikes first, 1-0.
You know, it's a painful way to pick up your first RBI as a Tom Sock, but I don't think David Wiley's going to be complaining too much there. It gives his team the lead as they're now up 1-0, and once again, you keep the lineup rolling, and you're just taking what Jamison is giving you.
And for a team that really struggled to get runs across the plate last Saturday against this team, a really good opportunity here in the first. And now Josh Tate steps into the box for his first at-bat. Bases remain loaded. Tate had the most success for a Tom Sock against the Turks last week. He was 2 for 4 with a stolen base. 1-0 delivery. He takes upstairs, and it's quickly 2-0.
Well, control issues, this isn't something new for Miles Jamison. During his college season at Davidson, walked 23 hitters in 20 innings. Had a 12.6 ERA, so definitely been not one of his strong suits for the last little bit.
Take all the way there for Josh Tate on the 2-0. Fastball right down the middle. So a 2-1 count. Bases remain loaded with Porter at third, Hinks at second, and Wiley at first. Another pitch inside and potentially another free pass here for Charlottesville with one more ball.
Well, if I'm Josh Tate, I know it's a 3-1 count, but I would only be swinging if the pitch is right there and you know that you can drive it, just with how bad Jamison has been able to locate the strike zone.
Another take all the way there for Tate. It catches the inside corner. So the count goes full. 1 away here in the top half of the first. Martinez in the on-deck circle for Charlottesville. Payoff pitch. Line foul into the net. And we'll get another full count delivery in a moment, but a really good approach here for Charlottesville in the first inning. Don't give them anything. If they're going to throw balls, don't chase. Make them get back into counts.
We've seen that from the Tom Sox all season long. They really haven't expanded their strike zones too much and just taking what the pitchers are giving them, and that's exactly what they've done so far.
Another payoff and another foul ball for Tate. So what started as a 2-0 count worked to 3-1, then full, now back-to-back foul balls. Really driving up this pitch count for Jamison, and now there is some movement in the Turks bullpen. Payoff pitch, upstairs, ball 4. Another free pass issued, another run comes across to score. 2-0 Tom Sox here in the first.
Once again, just another excellent at-bat from Charlottesville. Josh Tate worked the count and fouled off a lot of tough pitches, and when Jamison couldn't find the strike zone, he took the free pass down at first base, and Tom Sox have 2 runs so far and only on 1 hit, so they're just taking what Jamison is giving you out on the bump.
Now, what a way to start your career potentially for Bryce Martinez as a Tom Sox. Bases loaded, 1 away, takes the first pitch on the outside corner for strike 1, but talk about making an impression. It would be really solid for him to be able to drive in a run or 2 here in his first at-bat.
That's exactly right. The new Wofford player here in Charlottesville. See if he can drive one and expand this lead.
0-1 off speed inside, and that'll even the count. Martinez, an RBI machine. He started all 52 games of Wofford this season, drove in 45 runs, yet he didn't have a single homer. See what he does here. 1-1 from Jamison. That one catches the inside corner. He brought the heat for strike 2, and finally Jamison able to work in front of a batter.
Yeah, it's looking like he's starting to find his rhythm here and not just aiming his pitches and just rearing back and firing. So it's going to be a good little battle between Jamison and Martinez here.
1-2, foul ball to the left side near the Turks dugout. Manager Bob Weiss will come out from the steps and grab it. The count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hinks the runner at third, Wiley at second, Josh Tate at first after the walk. Already 2 in this inning for the Sox, and that one is lined into right. Morgan will field. Here comes Hinks tagging. The throw goes to third. Wiley gets in there safely. It's going to be a sac fly for Martinez. The RBI machine picks up his first in a Tom Sox uniform, and the Tom Sox extend their lead to 3 here in the first.
A good piece of hitting there from Bryce Martinez in his first at-bat. Fouled off a couple of pitches from Jamison there and just put a ball deep into right field there. And Hinks was going to score easily, but nice heads-up base running there by David Wiley, advancing on the throw from second to third.
So here comes the 8th batter of the inning for Charlottesville. It's KJ Alexander. And there's going to be another stolen base. No throw as Tate swipes second. Make that stolen base number 35 on the year for the Tom Sox. And this is a team that does not hit for a lot of power. Only 2 home runs. That was just the 10th double of the season so far with that Justin Thomas double earlier in the game. As the 1-0, that nearly hits Alexander, and the count moves to 2-0. But for the Tom Sox, this seems to be the approach. Work some counts, poke the ball the other way. Whether it's a single or a double, doesn't matter as long as you're able to get runners on base and move those runners into scoring position. 2-0, another red light, and Alexander takes it for strike 1.
Yeah, that's a great point that you bring up, as Charlottesville really hasn't gotten the power numbers that they would have liked to, but they're not letting it stop them, and they're redesigning their game just on taking that extra base there, drawing good at-bats, creating walks, as Alexander watches another pitch go over, and once again, he's in another favorable count at 3-1, and how many times have we said that about the Tom Sox, not only in this game, but in the prior games this season? They really work the count. They get themselves in good hitters counts, and they don't expand the zone.
3-1, and that hits Alexander, the second hit batsman of the inning for Charlottesville. They've now got the bases loaded again, and it'll be Sergio Rivera coming to the plate. Just a really wild inning here for the Tom Sox, and that's going to do it for Miles Jamison. He faces 8 batters, gives up a leadoff double, then walks 3, hits 2. And in his second appearance of the season against the Tom Sox, it doesn't go that successful. We're going to take a quick break here on Tom Sox TV. New pitcher after just 2/3 of an inning. Don't go anywhere. This is Tom Sox Baseball on Tom Sox TV. Come back here on Tom Sox TV, and another great chance offensively for Charlottesville. Bases loaded, 2 out here in the top half of the first for Sergio Rivera. Takes the first pitch upstairs for ball 1. And Alex, tell us a little bit about this new Harrisonburg arm.
So the new man on the on the mound rather for the Turks is Lane Pearson. Has only made 1 appearance on the year, but went 3 innings, gave up 3 hits, walked 1, struck out 1, and he finds himself in a really big spot here against Sergio Rivera with the bases loaded. Pearson
is able to even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. It's been an assembly line so far for the Tom Sox. A RBI on a hit by pitch, a walk, and then a sac fly. And now the bases remain loaded for Rivera. 1-1, he goes swinging at the off-speed down and away. And Pearson 1 pitch away from getting Harrisonburg out of this nightmare of a start.
That was a filthy off-speed pitch there from Pearson, who stands at 6'7", 225 pounds. He has a lot of velocity on that fastball, and if he can locate the off-speed pitch like he just did, he is in for a wonderful day out on the bump.
1-2 from Pearson, down low, and that evens the count at 2. Pearson, big frame, as you mentioned, Alex, 6'7". Even though his fastball may be sitting low 90s, that's going to play in that mid-90s range because of his height and his length towards home plate. 2-2 to Rivera. Slider down and away, and another full count for a Tom Sox batter here in the first, and the leadoff man, Justin Thomas, on deck.
It's really been a dynamic inning for the Tom Sox here, and they only have 1 hit but have scored 3 runs, just taking what the pitching staff for the Turks has given them so far.
Payoff pitch. High chopper over Pearson. Going to be a tough play for Perez. He throws to first. No throw, and a second run will come home to score. How about that base running for Josh Tate? Wiley scored easily. Tate never stopped, going from second all the way to home on the infield single for Sergio Rivera. That brings in 2, and it's a 5 spot here in the top of the first for the Sox.
Excellent base running there by Josh Tate, as it was just a simple ground ball to the shortstop Perez there. He took his time on the throw, double pumped actually, so he wasn't going to get the speedy Rivera, but Josh Tate, noticing that, never stopped once around the bases, got the wave going from second to home there, and just excellent speed. And like we had talked about all broadcast long, just a small ball for the Tom Sox really been in play so far.
And now Justin Thomas will come to bat for the 2nd time this inning. He led off the game with a double and scored on the RBI hit by pitch from David Wiley. And now runners on second and first, still 2 out for Lane Pearson. Senior right-hander from Georgia Southern. Off speed on the 0-1. That catches the top of the zone and a 0-2 count. I believe it's the first one we've had so far in this game.
Believe you're right, and for Pearson here, he has to get out of it now, stop the bleeding at just 5 runs in this inning.
0-2 pitch. Slider right down the middle, strike 3, but how about that start for the Tom Sox? They bring in 5 in the top half of the first, a little station-to-station action. And how about that run support for Jaden Kinsler? He makes his return to the mound here at Eagle Field. On the other side of this break, Tom Sox 5, Harrisonburg 0 on Tom Sox TV. what a start for the Tom Sox. They bring 5 runs home in the top half of the first inning, and how about some run support for the James Madison Duke, making his return to his home mound. Jaden Kinsler, the sophomore left-hander from Glen Allen, Virginia, will make his second start in a Tom Sox uniform tonight. He went 4 innings against Covington last week.
He looked very good in that start against Covington as well. Went 4 innings, gave up 3 hits, didn't allow an earned run, did give up 1 run there. Struck out 6, and what really impressed me was just how in control he was on the mound, pitched to his strengths, and got a lot of swings and misses.
Kinsler started off his day with a strike. The 0-1 pitch, that is outside corner and fouled away for strike 2. Aiden Alexander, the leadoff hitter for Harrisonburg. Alexander was 3 for 4 with a walk against Charlottesville last week. Quickly down 0-2 here to Kinsler. And that's a line drive into center. That's going to get down for a base hit. So similar start for the Turks offensively as it was for the Tom Sox. Leadoff man on. And now the number 2 hitter in Jose Perez coming to the plate, who had quite the game last week in Charlottesville.
Well, that's exactly right. And before we get into Perez, after giving up 5 runs in the top half of the inning, you want to come back, get your leadoff man on base, and Aiden Alexander has really been swinging a hot bat. But you know who else has been swinging a hot bat? Jose Perez had 4 RBIs against Charlottesville in the first time these two teams squared off, including the game-winning hit and a 2-run home run that got the party started for the Turks.
First pitch to Perez down low for ball 1. Perez, the final line for him at the plate was 2 for 5 with a homer, 4 RBI, and a strikeout. Pretty much single-handedly won the game for the Turks last Saturday back at Cho Airport Field. There's a check over to Alexander at first base. He's only swiped 1 base, and they have him picked off the throw to second. Edwards couldn't get there in time. They had him out for dead, but Alexander able to take second base, and another runner in scoring position in this first inning.
Well, it just looked like Kyle Edwards was too slow reacting to the pickoff move, couldn't get to the bag in time, but great speed there by Alexander, moving up, taking the extra base, and smart on Kinsler for keeping an eye on him there at first base, but Alexander just too fast for this Tom Sock defense.
So Alexander on second, and there's a high fly ball into center. Thomas is able to camp under it and make the catch for out number 1. Alexander showing some aggression on the base pass, took a couple steps off of second base, but he will stay there for the number 3 hitter in Micah Morgan.
It's a big out there by Kinsler after allowing Alexander to move up into scoring position. Want to get the first out of the inning there, and now you bring up Micah Morgan, who's been swinging a hot stick.
So Kinsler has the leadoff man at second base, 1 out now. Morgan against the Tom Sox was 1 for 4. Hit .271 with South Alabama this season. Slugged .372, got on base at a .317 clip. Takes the first pitch in the dirt outside for ball 1. Nice job by Alexander to keep that one in front.
An excellent block there by Alexander behind the dish. That ball was destined for the backstop there. Took a bounce, but Alexander put his glove out, blocked it out in front of him, and kept it right in front of him, keeping the other Alexander at bay over there at second base.
.1-0 to Morgan. That's a low line drive in the left, and it's going to fall in front of Rivera and go all the way to the wall. Alexander comes home to score easily. Morgan rounding second. He's heading into third. He gets in there standing up. It's an RBI triple for Micah Morgan, and the Turks have a response. It's now 5-1.
What a shot there by Micah Morgan. Looked like a simple line drive into left field there, but Sergio Rivera was too slow getting to the ball and took a weird angle to it. So once the ball did fall, it hopped right over his glove and just bounced into that left field corner there, allowing Micah Morgan to hightail it all the way up into third base. And we thought that this was going to be a low-scoring game, just like the first time these two teams played, but they have the same amount of runs that they scored in the first game in just the first inning alone now, as the Tom Sox are up 5-1.
Now the first pitch to Trent Corrali is a swing and a miss for strike one. Kinsler, who only gave up one run, wasn't earned against Covington last week, in some trouble here in his return to his home field. 0-1 to Corrali. That's a swing and a miss on the fastball outside corner for strike two. Jaden sits 91 to 93 with that fastball, but it looks a lot quicker coming from that left side. It's also got some natural tail to it.
That's exactly right, and he really does a good job tailing and using that fastball to get ahead of hitters.
0-2 pitch outside. The count moves to 1 ball, 2 strikes. 5-run top half of the inning for Charlottesville, and already 1 run in for Harrisonburg here in the bottom half. Kinsler out of the windup, the 1-2. That changeup tails away. Count evens.
For Kinsler here, he has to try and stop the bleeding. Yeah, you did give up 1 run and did give up a massive triple to Micah Morgan, but he's standing 90 feet away, and if he could bear down and get Corrali, it would be a crucial second out of the inning.
That pitch inside, so the count goes from 0-2 to full. Here to the number 4 hitter in Corrali. Corrali 1 for 2 with a walk on Saturday against Charlottesville. .348 average so far this year. Full count pitch, that's line foul to the right side. Out of play. We'll get another payoff pitch here in a moment.
Corrali just doing a good job fighting off the tough pitch on the inside portion of the plate. Fouling that out of play, and we'll live to see another pitch.
Morgan, the runner at third after the triple. Full count, change up upstairs for ball 4. So the triple, then now the walk on the full count for Kinsler. And that brings up Ben Barrett, who had quite the game against Charlottesville last week as well. He was 2 for 5 with a strikeout.
And the walk from Kinsler was the first walk that he's given up this year. And in his first start against Covington, that's what really impressed me, is he pitched to his strength, controlled the strike zone, but just that last at-bat against Corrali just lost the plate and now is facing an even bigger test in Barrett.
Smoker to the left side and foul for Barrett. For strike one, the sophomore from Florida State and Orlando, Florida native. He was the number 8 right-handed pitcher in Florida by perfect game for the class of 2022, but only appeared sparingly as a pitcher for the Seminoles this spring, but slugged .551 in 33 games, hit 2 homers and 21 RBI with the Seminoles. Big spot here. Runners on the corners, 1 away, down by 4. Alexander leaps to keep that one going to the backstop, and the count evens at 1. Some control issues for Kinsler, just like we saw with Jamison in that top half.
That's exactly right, and for Kinsler here, like we talked about, he really didn't have those control issues in his first start against Covington, but here just lost a little bit of control, still trying to regain the plate.
And that one skied foul. Looked like Hinks might have had a chance at it for a moment. But it goes out of the park, and the count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kinsler only gave up 3 hits in that 4-inning performance against Covington. Over 4 innings, already given up 2 here in the bottom of the first. And there's another line drive just foul. Barrett really trying to take this outside pitch the other way.
Yeah, and he sees the hole between first and second base there with Hinks holding on the runner at first base. So there's a large hole on that right side of the infield there. Barrett trying to go the opposite way and put 2 good swings on it. Just landed out of play.
Morgan at third, Corrali at first, and there's a check over to Corrali. No tag applied by Hinks. Refreshing on the defensive alignment for Charlottesville. Sergio Rivera in left, Justin Thomas in center, David Wiley in right, Bryce Martinez at third, Kyle Edwards at short, Josh Tate at second, and Connor Hinks at first. The 1-2 is spiked, blocked by Alexander to even the count at 2. Obviously Alexander behind the plate. Hollis Porter in that DH role, getting a break from the field tonight.
Alexander's done a pretty good job in the first inning, just blocking a lot of the pitches coming in from Kinsler, and that's what has been really impressive about him so far. While as bad as there his defense is.
2-2 fly ball into right. Wiley will go to the corner and make the catch. Throw comes into the cutoff man. It's going to be a sac fly for Barrett. Turks bring it within one more closer. It's now 5-2 Charlottesville.
Just a great at-bat there from Barrett. Fouled off a couple of tough pitches there from Kinsler and finally got a pitch that he could drive and put a good poke out into right field. Just nice play there made by Wiley and was deep enough to score Morgan from third.
Now just the runner at first in Corrali, 2 away for Cam Harris. Harris, the sophomore out of Wingate, hitting .353 and has appeared in all 6 games so far for the Turks. Takes the first pitch on the outside corner for strike 1.
Harris has been a tough out this year at the plate. As you mentioned, his .353 average, but has walked 4 times and only struck out once. This is a guy that likes to put a lot of balls in play here, and he's been having success doing so.
Has a .476 on base percentages, an .829 OPS as well. Slugging .353, same number as the average. 1-1 breaking ball, that doesn't drop far enough. And that curveball is not something we've seen a whole lot from Kinsler so far, but with that fastball getting a lot of action, maybe wanting to catch this left-handed hitter off guard.
Well, it looked like Kinsler wanted that call too. Thought it caught the top of the strike zone.
Hard ground ball to second. Josh Tate will flip to first, and Kinsler's able to get out of it, but Harrisonburg has a response. An RBI triple from Micah Morgan and a sac fly from Ben Barrett brings the Turks back within 3. It's Tom Sox 5, Harrisonburg 2. We'll be right back with the second on the other side of this break. Back here at Eagle Field at Veterans Memorial Park for the top of the second inning. Here in Game 2 of the season series between the Tom Sox and the Turks, Nathan Schwartz and Alex Rocco here with you calling all the action tonight. And the first pitch from Pearson, taken on the outside corner by Kyle Edwards for strike 1. Have the final line for Miles Jamison. He went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 5 earned runs on 1 hit, walked 3 and did not record a strikeout. Now Pearson on to try and keep this momentum going for the Turks after getting 2 runs back in that bottom half. 1-1 to Kyle, and he swings and misses through that slider down low, moving the count to 1-2.
Well, it wasn't an ideal start for Jamison at all, but now Pearson has a big opportunity to get his team back in the game, as they did put up 2 runs in the bottom half of the inning, but give this team a lot of length coming out of the bullpen. Obviously, whenever your starter goes 2/3 of an inning. It's not the start that you would hope for, but Pearson really has a big chance to give his team a lot of momentum if he could stack outs on the mound.
1-2 fastball from Pearson. That's on the outside edge. And taken for a ball. Evens the count at 2 to Edwards. Kyle flew out to center field in his first at bat. Was just one of 2 Tom Sox to not reach base in that first inning. Hits a hard ground ball to third. That's Ty Gill. Across diamond throw to first for out number 1. So Kyle starts the day 0 for 2. And now Hollis Porter steps up to the plate. He walked and scored in that 5-run first.
It was a big first out of the inning for Pearson there. Because Kyle Edwards is a tough player to get out, really feisty hitter at the plate, but got him just to ground out to third and a nice long throw from Gill over there. And it's exactly how you want to start off an inning after scoring 2 runs in the bottom half.
Now here's Porter, drew his 4th walk of the season, just the 7th game so far for Charlottesville. His on-base percentage was .429 coming into that at-bat. That ticked up, and he's taken the first 2 pitches, the first one for a ball, the second one in there for strike 1. You look at the box score right now, 5 runs on 2 hits for Charlottesville, 2 runs on 2 hits for Harrisonburg, and that's going to be the story. Will all those walks and hit batsmen come back to haunt Harrisonburg in that first inning?
Well, typically it does when you're consistently putting hitters on base and giving them free passes or hitting them. The more opportunities you can give to your opponent, the better it's going to be for them.
There's a swing and a miss on the off speed from Porter. The second strikeout of the game for Pearson, and quickly 2 away here in this top of the second. Now here comes Connor Hinks, the first baseman tonight from Notre Dame. Only got 6 at-bats with the Fighting Irish this season. He takes the first pitch right down the middle for strike 1.
Well, Hinks has come into Charlottesville and really done well so far in his first 3 games, hitting .286 with 3 RBIs and has also stolen 3 bases. So doing a little bit of everything is Hinks.
Decent crowd here tonight on the campus of James Madison. Starting to get into it here as the Turks build some momentum. 0-2 delivery, swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lane Pearson. He's got 3 through an inning and a third, and the score remains Charlottesville 5, Harrisonburg 2 here on Tom Sox TV. Rough start for the Turks pitching staff, but Lane Pearson enters the game and then gets 3 strikeouts through an inning and a third to limit this damage that the Tom Sox offense provided in that first inning. First pitch for Jaden Kinsler is a breaking ball in there for strike 1, but look at Pearson, a guy who redshirted this season at Georgia Southern, is coming in just thrown strike after strike to begin this outing tonight.
It's been a big difference from the starter in Jamison now to Pearson, as Pearson's just been finding the strike zone, isn't aiming his pitches, just rearing back and firing and getting ahead with his fastball and using his off-speed pitches. It's been really solid showing through an inning and a third.
There's a pitch fouled away for Sean Barnett, the left fielder for the Turks. Makes the count 0-2.
Barnett this year struggling to get things going through 5 games on the season, hitting just 111, does have an RBI and 1 walk.
One-two from Kinsler. That's fouled away by Barnett. Was expecting breaking ball all the way. Got it and was just missed it. See how long Kinsler, his leash is. He went 4 innings against Covington, but didn't give up as much offensively as he did in that first inning. And another ball misses high there for Kinsler, evens the count at 2.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see, and you bring up a good point just about his outing at Covington. Really didn't go through a lot of stress and a lot of trouble there. But so far in the first inning, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits. And they're really making him work.
Ground ball to third. Martinez is able to field his first put out as the Tom Sox is the first out here in the bottom of the second.
It was a much-needed out there for Kinsler on the bump after struggling in the bottom of the first. Coming back, getting a quick ground out to the third baseman, Martinez. It's what you need, and it can inspire some confidence out on the mound and allow him to get back into a rhythm.
Now Gunnar Carlson, the sophomore backstop from Florida State, was 0 for 3 with a walk and 2 Ks against Charlottesville last week, and he takes a big swing and a miss on that off-speed for strike 1. Kinsler's mixing in his pitches really well. Fastball, changeup, curveball. Also seeing a little bit of a slider or a cutter, it seems. 0-1. Goes to that fastball, and it's down low. Evens the count at 1.
Well, for Kinsler, the key is really locating the first pitch fastball, because if you can have success with the fastball, you get over, you get in favorable counts there, then you can mix in your off-speed stuff when you're up in the count 1-2 or 0-2.
One-two from Kinsler upstairs. That'll even the count, but it seems like Kinsler's been working ahead 1-2 and seemingly just getting down in these counts, is really trying to blow that heater by these hitters on that 1-2 count. It keeps on missing high.
He's missing his put-away pitch is what he had against Covington.
And there's a liner to left. Rivera was playing way shallow, so he barely has to move, but he makes the catch. A line out for Carlson, 2 away here in the bottom of the second.
Well, this is a much better inning for Kinsler out on the mound for the Tom Sox. Really just settling things down and pitching to contact, and that was something that he didn't do in the first inning, just was aiming his pitches, lost the release of a couple of them, and now he's settling into a groove and bouncing back.
First pitch to Ty Gill is outside for ball 1. Ty, the senior third baseman from Purdue, appeared in 23 games with the Boilermakers this year, hit for a .320 average, takes the 102 seamer right down the middle for strike 1.
Gill hasn't played much here in the VBL. This is just his 4th game played. Only his 4 at-bats, though, but is hitting .500 in those at-bats.
1-1 delivery up and in on Gill. That makes it count 2 balls and 1 strike. You're right, Alex. Really hasn't played a whole lot. Only 4 at-bats. We're getting a chance here tonight against the southpaw Kinsler. 2-1 fastball right off of Alexander's shin guard and into the screen to even the count at 2.
This is a big spot for Kinsler now. We talked about him missing when he's up ahead in the count, 0-2, 1-2. Now the count is even at 2-2. He's looking for his put-away pitch where he had against Covington, had 6 punch-outs, is yet to record one tonight.
2-2 curveball, that never really dropped. didn't get that forward spin on the breaking ball, and it'll be full here with 2 away. Kinsler looking for a 1-2-3 second inning. Takes a breath, gets the sign from Alexander, the payoff pitch, breaking ball inside for ball 4. It'll be the second walk issued by Kinsler, and it extends the inning and brings the leadoff man to the plate in Aiden Alexander, led off this offensive spark for the Turks with a single.
Well, Kinsler just couldn't execute on his last 2 breaking pitches there. First one just never dropped, and then the last one, the 3-2 pitch, just ran too far inside on Gill there. It nearly hit him, but Gill on with a 2-out walk. Let's see what Alexander can do with it.
Ground ball to second on the first pitch. He will be retired, and that will do it for the second inning. A 2-out walk for Ty Gill, but Kinsler escapes. 5-2 remains the score between the Tom Sox and the Turks in Game 2 of this season series. Top of the third coming up right after this. New inning, new pitcher for Harrisonburg. Lane Pearson's night is done. Jason Scheifitz, another James Madison Duke, on the mound tonight here on the campus of James Madison University. In the first pitch, Scheifitz throws as a strike on the outside corner to David Wiley.
Scheifitz on the year has a 1-0 record, a 2.25 ERA in 4 innings of work, walked 3, struck out 2 in his 2 appearances.
0-1 from Scheifitz. That's lined hard into center field for a base hit. Wiley's got his first base knock as a member of the Tom Sox. He's reached base in both of his plate appearances tonight, and for the second time tonight, Charlottesville's got the leadoff man on.
Wiley is doing a very nice job at the plate. This first at-bat got hit by a pitch, but worked the count in that at-bat, and now here against Scheifitz, wasting no time, just lining a ball into the left center field gap there, and really doing a nice job as Wiley, making himself known in his Tom Sock debut.
Starting to get more chances, especially with Henry Ford out for seemingly the remainder of the season. As there's a ground ball to second, Perez steps on second for one. The throw to first is in time for the 6-3 double play. So that leadoff single wiped off the board as Tate grounds out into the double play, and just like that, 2 outs here in the third.
Well, it's very rare to see Josh Tate get doubled up, but just a nice chopping ground ball right to the shortstop Perez, who easily just steps on the bag, makes the throw into first, and just getting Tate down the line. But all we talked about with Wiley getting on base and a great start to the inning gets wiped away.
We were both surprised that Pearson got pulled out when he did, and our doubts heightened even more when Scheifetz gives up the leadoff single, but right away is able to get that double play on the first pitch to Tate, and that brings up Bryce Martinez. Drove in his first run as a Tom Sock with a sac fly in the first inning. It was the third run to cross the plate for Charlottesville in that inning, and Bryce quickly down 0-2 to begin this at-bat.
Well, when Pearson came on, he really did a nice job. Had 3 strikeouts in just an inning and a third, and got Kyle Edwards to ground out there, and really was in control on the mound. But I guess the Turks just want to get a lot of guys reps in a bullpen game.
Scheifetz looking for the 1-2-3, top of the third. 0-2 pitch to Martinez, up and in. Near the helmet, he's able to get out of the way, but the count moves to 1-2.
Martinez is a really good hitter. Hit .352 in his collegiate season. We talked about just being an RBI machine with 45, but anytime you can get on base at hitting .352, you're doing something right at the dish.
1-2 breaking ball was down in the turf to put the count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Scheifetz to Martinez. The pitch. Grounded to second. This is Harris. He's thrown to first, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Jason Scheifetz. 7 in a row retired after that double play for the Turks, and it remains 5-2 Charlottesville as we head to the bottom of the third here on Tom Sox TV. Here we go, bottom of the third here between the Tom Sox and the Turks. Nathan Schwartz, Alex Rocco here on the campus of James Madison University Eagle Field at Veterans Memorial Park. Jaden Kinsler back on for inning number 3 of relief, but there is some movement in the Charlottesville bullpen. Right-hander and left-hander warming for the Tom Sox. 0-1 changeup finds the outer edge of the zone to put the count 0-2 to Jose Perez.
Well, after struggling in the first inning, Kinsler really bounced back in the second. Had a nice job, got just allowed the one walk to Gill here. This third inning is going to be crucial for him if he could right the ship and continue the momentum that he built up in the second inning, or if he reverts back to his first inning form and just was all out of whack.
After the triple to Micah Morgan, Kinsler's looked pretty solid. He did walk 2 in that stretch, but after that triple, hasn't given up a hit, only given up those 2 base runners on the walks, and has been a lot more effective in finding the zone early in the count. The count here goes from 0-2 to even. 2-2 pitch to Perez. Got him looking. Jaden Kinsler gets the changeup at the bottom of the zone and 1 away here in the bottom of the third. A little bit of a delayed call there by our home plate umpire. But, you know, strike 3 is strike 3.
Yeah, the umpire just had to make sure that he was making the correct call, but it was a beautiful pitch there from Morgan, just finding the strike zone, nipping the bottom portion of the plate, and when he's locating his changeup like he just did, there really aren't a lot better pitchers on this staff.
The 7th strikeout of the season for Kinsler, the first tonight, and this being the second time through the lineup. And here comes Micah Morgan, had that big RBI triple in the first inning, takes an ugly swing there on the 1-0 delivery to even the count.
Well, it looked like Morgan just wasn't expecting that off-speed pitch as Kinsler pulled the string on him there, but he really put a nice swing on the ball on his triple.
There's a hard ground ball the other way. Kyle Edwards with his first chance on a ground ball tonight. No problems there for the veteran shortstop. He has the play for out number 2.
Kyle Edwards has really done a nice job defensively for the Tom Sox this year, and it's what his main calling card is. Won Defensive Player of the Year last year, and has come back and has made the routine plays, but also really makes those hard plays that saves outs and that are pitchers' best friends there. And now Kinsler with 2 quick outs here to open up the bottom of the third.
Kyle made a strong case for Valley League Defensive Player of the Year. You could argue he got snubbed in that regard, but nonetheless won the Tom Sox de facto Defensive Player of the Year. Didn't necessarily give out awards for it, but with him being the best defender statistically on the team, he gets that title. And he's been nothing short of spectacular once again here in his second year in Charlottesville. Quickly 0-2 to Trent Corrali, who walked in the first, but was stranded at first base. 0-2 from Kinsler, fouled off right by the Tom Sox dugout. Keeps the count 0-2.
And Corrali's been a really good hitter so far for Harrisonburg through 6 games, hitting .348 with 2 RBIs. And if Kinsler can get out of this inning unscathed, it would be a big and impressive job.
Did he go around? Yes, he did. Strike 3. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Jaden Kinsler. He's really settled into a groove after 3. Tom Sox 5. Turks 2. Here in Harrisonburg. Don't go anywhere. The 4th coming up right after this. We're a third of the way through here At James Madison University, Charlottesville leads 5-2. All 7 of those runs were scored in the first inning, and what a thriller start that was. 3 walks in that first inning for Charlottesville. 2 hit batsmen. They scored 5 runs on just 2 hits. Have only gotten 1 hit since then, and then Harrisonburg scores 2 on an RBI triple for Micah Morgan and a sac fly for Ben Barrett. But ever since then, the 3 pitchers that have combined for only allowing 1 hit.
Well, Nathan, it was really just a hectic start from this game, and the 7 runs put up in the first inning was more than was put up in the entire first game between these two teams. So offense has been at a premium, but as you mentioned, these pitching staffs has really battled down.
Alexander sits on a curveball and softly lines it into left center for a base hit. Good to see KJ get going offensively. He was hit by a pitch in the first and picks up his second hit of the season there.
It's always good for KJ Alexander. He was, like you mentioned, really struggling at the plate, but here's a guy that had a lot of success last year when he was in Charlottesville, hit 6 home runs in 18 games, and continued that power stroke into his collegiate season, hitting 10 home runs there. And for Alexander, really was struggling through the first 3 games, but has been on base in both plate appearances here tonight.
First pitch to Rivera. He gets it down for a bunt. Scheifetz will throw to first. It's wide, and that's going to be likely an infield single for Sergio Rivera for the second time tonight. How about that? And that's where that speed comes into play.
Speed kills, and Sergio Rivera has a lot of it, just dropping a perfectly placed bunt down. Scheifetz fielding his position extremely well, getting off the mound, making a strong throw over to first base, but you're not going to catch the speed of Sergio Rivera. His throw was a little high, pulled the first baseman Corrali off the bag just a bit, and now, just like that, the Tom Sox have 2 runners on base.
So just like that, runners on second and first. Now Thomas squares to bunt. You can see the small ball approach really coming into effect here in this 4th inning. It's been like that all season long for Lyndon Coleman and this coaching staff. Trey Smith, Brian Worth, the other 2 coaches on the staff for the Tom Sox. And Thomas, the leadoff man, he's 1 for 2 in the game. Squares the bunt again. Gets it down, but foul on the third base side. And the path is crystal clear here for Thomas. Get a bunt down the third base side. Try and make them make a decision whether they're going to go to third or first. And if they're going to go to first, put it in a spot where you can beat it out.
Well, Thomas, just like Rivera, has a lot of speed. Thomas has stolen 6 bases of his own this year, just like most of these players on this Tom Sock roster have a lot of speed. But if he can get the bunt down, like you said, it forces a decision from the defense, and that's exactly what you want to do in this spot, because the more they're thinking, the more prone they are to allowing an error.
Alexander at second, Rivera at first, another square, and there's a back pick to second. Alexander gets back in there safely. Thomas had to duck underneath of the baseball. Scheifetz throws a slider on the inside part of the plate, nearly clips the helmet of Thomas, but instead the count moves to 2-1.
Yeah, Scheifertz's slider almost slid right into Thomas's head there, but a good job ducking down, getting out of the way, and a close play at second base there. Alexander was just getting a little bit too far off the bag, expecting the bunt to be put down, but Carlson making the long throw, keeping him in check over there at second base.
2-1 the count. Another square for Thomas. He does get this one down just in front of the plate, but the throw goes to first, and a beautiful sacrifice bunt for Justin Thomas. That's textbook right there for the Tom Sox leadoff hitter, setting up 2 runners in scoring position for Kyle Edwards in the 2 spot, Hollis Porter in the 3 spot right behind him.
It was an excellent bunt there by Thomas, and that's exactly what you want from your leadoff guy. Continue to keep the line moving, get a bunt down, do the little things right, and this is what we've talked about with Lyndon Coleman's teams. They take the extra base and they do the little things right. That includes bunting, and now you have runners in scoring position for one of your hotter hitters in Kyle Edwards.
Now, Edwards squared the bunt. Maybe try and do a little safety squeeze, just keep the chain moving with the soft single for Alexander, the infield single for Rivera on the bunt, and then a sacrifice for Thomas. Does Edwards keep it going? About to find out. 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss on the fastball outside part of the plate for Edwards. That evens the count at 1. First base is open. You certainly don't want to put Edwards on and get to the meat of this Tom Sox lineup with Porter, Hinks, and Wiley on tap. 1-1 to Edwards. Slider tried to backdoor, but instead the count moves to 2-1.
It's a big spot for Edwards here, too. Now with 2 runners just sitting in scoring position there. You do have a 3-run lead, but you can never be sure enough of that lead. Continue to get insurance runs there, and now Edwards is just in the driver's seat in this at-bat.
And now a ball outside that moves to 3-1 the count. Mentioned first base is open. Alexander at third, Rivera at second. Tom Sox looking to extend this lead. It's down to a 3-run lead after it was started out as a 5-run lead. There's a swing and a miss for Edwards. Heater on the same spot as the first strike. And the count moves full. Straight up defense for the Turks. Infield playing in line with the base paths. Payoff fouled away by Edwards along the right side to keep the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Good job by Edwards there to fight off a tough pitch, keep this at-bat alive. And for Scheifetz here, you're looking for that put-away pitch. Can't afford to load the bases for Hollis Porter, who's swinging a really hot bat in his last few games.
Full count delivery, and Edwards will take it for ball 4. Saw that pitch all the way through, came down to a crouch, and watched that one go below the knees for ball 4. So Kyle will reach base for the first time today. He's now 0 for 2 with a walk. And for the first time since that first inning, the bases will be loaded for Charlottesville, and it'll be Hollis Porter with the bases loaded for the first time today.
Well, that last pitch to Edwards was extremely close. Scheifetz thought he nipped the outside portion of the plate, but the umpire disagreed, and now Edwards has loaded the bases.
Porter lines one out of the stadium for strike 1. So going back to that first inning, the bases were loaded for Wiley. He was hit by a pitch, drove in a run. They were loaded for Josh Tate. He walks to drive in a run. Bases were loaded for Bryce Martinez. He drives in a run on a sac fly. And then the bases were loaded for Justin Thomas to end the inning, and he struck out as the 0-1 for Porter fouled away for strike 2. So 4 chances in that first inning for the Tom Sox with the bases loaded. I believe actually it was 5 chances. Rivera, when he was up, had the bases loaded and drove in Tate with that RBI single. So only that 1 hit, but 5 runs came to cross the plate in that first inning for the Tom Sox. 0-2 from Scheifetz, swing and a miss. Got Porter on the slider. That's a big second out for Jason Scheifetz, keeping the bases loaded, but able to send the hottest hitter in this lineup walking back to the dugout.
Well, we talked about the Tom Sox effectiveness with the bases loaded in the first inning, and anytime you can put up 5 runs in an inning, you're doing something well, but you have to capitalize whenever you load the bases here. That was a massive strikeout from Scheifetz there. Sitting down Porter, threw him a mix of fastball, sliders, and really had them all out of whack.
First pitch to Connor Hinks, catches the inside corner for strike 1. Connor's 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored in the game. Struck out swinging to end the second inning. Also his first chance with the bases juiced tonight. 0-1 from Scheifetz. There's a fly ball into right field, sending Morgan back to the track. He will make the catch at the wall for out number 3. Hinks misses a grand slam by about 5 feet. And Jason Scheifetz able to work out of a bases-loaded 1-out jam, and no runs come to cross the plate in the 4th for Charlottesville. Score remains the same, Tom Sox 5, Turks 2. We head to the bottom of the 4th here in Harrisonburg. Charlottesville can't get anything to come to the plate in that top of the fourth. A golden opportunity, bases loaded, one out for your number 3 and number 4 hitters. Hollis Porter goes down on strikes. Connor Hinks sends one way out to right field, probably about a 335-foot blast, but just misses going over that purple wall out there in right field. And it would have been a 9-2 game. Now remains 5-2. Still no runs since that first inning for either side, and Jaden Kinsler back on the mound for his 4th inning of work, Alex.
Kinsler's really settled in after allowing 2 runs in the first inning. Last inning went 1-2-3 in the Turks meat of their lineup, the 2-3-4 hitters. That was a tough test in Ben Barrett here.
Count's already 1 ball, 1 strike, and a check, but he holds back for Ben Barrett to put the count at 2-1. Barrett drove in that 2nd run in the first inning for Harrisonburg. Sac fly that drove in Micah Morgan after he brought in Aiden Alexander with a triple. 2-1 changeup outside, misses down low. And count moves to 3 balls and 1 strike. Lyndon Coleman doesn't like pulling pitchers in the middle of innings, something I've noticed thus far over the first week or so of the season, as there's a walk issued to Barrett, and that puts the leadoff man on for Harrisonburg. But even with somebody warming for Charlottesville in the bullpen, you're likely going to see Kinsler get a full inning here of work unless something gets out of hand and he works himself into a jam.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because you want your relievers to come in and work in a fresh situation here. But for Kinsler, walk the first guy in Barrett. Now we'll have a test against Cam Harris here. But in his first start for Kinsler, went 4 innings, only give up 3 hits. Didn't give up an earned run in that contest, really gutted through it in the last couple innings of that start. But curious to see if it's another gutty performance for Kinsler out on the mound.
1-0 to Cam Harris. Finds the top of the zone for strike 1. Harris grounded out to Tate in his first at-bat. Now 0 for 5 this season against Charlottesville. But has been a tough out, as Alex mentioned earlier. Came in today with a .353 average and a .476 on base. Takes that 1-1 pitch outside. So 2-1 the count. Barrett the leadoff man at first following the walk. 2-1 from Kinsler. That catches the upper 90, if you will, part of the zone for strike 2. On the upper, right across the letters on the jersey and on that outside edge of the plate.
It's definitely a high strike call, but I don't think Kinsler is going to complain too much about it.
Popped up left side. Martinez just runs out of room by the Harrisonburg dugout. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Barrett at first base after recording his 2nd walk this season. 2-2 outside for ball 3. And one thing, Alex, we've both caught both of our eyes, I should say, has been just the amount of full counts and 2-2 counts that we've seen so far today.
Yeah, just Kinsler really hasn't found his put-away pitch.
As there's a deep drive into right center. This one's going to get down into the right center field gap for extra bases. Here comes Barrett around third. Edwards will hold on his throw to the plate. It's an RBI double for Cam Harris. His 3rd RBI this season, his first extra base hit as a Turk. Brings Harrisonburg 1 run closer. It's now 5-3.
Cameron Harris put a charge into that ball in the deep right center field gap there and instantly split in the outfielders there. And just a good piece of hitting and not the result that Kinsler wanted out on the mound. Had him deep in the count there, was looking for that put-away pitch, and just brings up the point that we have been talking about all broadcast long, where Kinsler was really looking for the strikeout pitch in the first 2 innings. Couldn't come away with it, then gets 2 strikeouts, and sort of like, wow, he's looking back to where his first outing was, where he punched out 6 hitters, and once again, just got himself in a 2-strike count, but couldn't put Harris away. And Harris lines a shot deep into the outfield and now just makes it a 2-run ball game.
Lyndon Coleman out talking with the entire infield and Jaden Kinsler. It looks like Kinsler's going to stay in the ball game. And now I believe Jarvis Evans is warming up in the Tom Sox bullpen. He had one heck of a debut for Charlottesville in Game 1 against Waynesboro back on June the 1st. We'll see if he enters the game here in this bottom of the 4th inning. But for right now, runner at second base and Cam Harris after driving in the 3rd run of the day for Harrisonburg. Barrett goes first to home on the double to deep right center. You could tell off the bat that that one was either leaving the yard or getting down in the gap. And that gave Barrett that little extra motivation to know he could get closer to second base without penalty. First pitch to Sean Barnett is inside for ball 1. A potential tongue twister for us with Barrett in the 5 spot and then Barnett in the 7 spot. Also, Ben and Sean kind of look the same on my scorebook with my handwriting, so have to be careful with both of those names. There's another ball upstairs to Barnett, so the count 2-0, and Kinsler starting to fatigue a little bit in this 4th inning.
Could definitely see the fatigue coming from Jaden Kinsler out on the mound, just losing control, losing focus, and saw it with the first 2 batters, the walk to Barrett and the RBI double to Harris.
There's a fly ball into the seats along the first base side for Barnett, and the count moves to 2-1.
Kinsler has to put away Barnett in this spot. Barnett just coming into this contest, hitting just 111, and it's these hitters that are at the bottom of the lineup, the 7, 8, 9 hitters that are really struggling on the season that you have to put away that can build up some confidence for you, not only in this game but in future outings.
2-1 from Kinsler. Swing and a miss from Barnett. Evens the count at 2. And the strategy here for Kinsler, either you got to get the strikeout or a ground ball to the left side. And that way you're able to keep Harris at second base. As this lineup starts to move into the latter 3rd. This is the 7-hitter Barnett, Gunnett Carlson in that 8 spot on deck. 2-2. There's a line drive into left. Rivera's not going to get it. It's down for a base hit. Harris will come home to score easily. An RBI single for Barnett brings this game within 1 run. 5-4 Tom Sox.
Well, the bats have certainly come out for the Turks here in the bottom of the 4th after the booming double by Harris. Just a nice line drive single for Sean Barnett there. Serving it right in the left field. Rivera played it on a bounce and retrieved it back into the infield, but it's the same story for Kinsler. Gets ahead in the count with 2 strikes and just once again couldn't put away the hitter. And now with back-to-back base hits and it just being a 5-4 game, expect the bullpen to be put in use or definitely in motion.
Yeah, never want to look for a silver lining in a moment like that, but it does put the force in play, and now Carlson squares to bunt. Fouls it off to the left side, and the count moves to 0-1. But you had the runner on second with nobody out. Now you got the runner on first with nobody out. So if you get a ground ball, you do have the possibility of turning 2 and emptying the bases. But now the game is a 1-run ball game. Charlottesville jumped out to a 5-0 lead in the 1st on a slew of gifts from the Harrisonburg pitching staff. 3 walks, 2 hit batsmen, and an infield single for Sergio Rivera was all the Tom Sox needed. As there's a strike on the outside corner to move the count 0-2 to Carlson, but since then it's just been 4 hits for the Turks. A single for Alexander, a triple for Morgan that drove in Alexander, a double for Harris that drove in Barrett, and a single for Barnett that drove in Harris. 0-2 breaking ball, that's outside. 1-2 now the count. But the hits have simply enough just come at the right time for Harrisonburg.
That's exactly right, and they're doing a good job. They're capitalizing on the mistakes made by Kinsler out on the mound, and they're putting bat to ball and finding the soft spots in the Tom Sox defense to keep this inning alive.
2-2, there's a big strikeout for Jaden Kinsler, his 3rd of the game, and records the first out here in this 4th inning.
That was a strikeout desperately needed there by Jaden Kinsler. You can't afford to keep letting runners get on base, and finally got the put-away pitch that we have been talking about and picks up a massive strikeout, just his third so far tonight.
And that strategy of not trying to pull that pitcher in the middle of an inning starting to pay off a little bit after that strikeout. Now the number 9 hitter in Ty Gill takes the first pitch curveball at the top of the zone for strike 1.
This Tom Sock bullpen, too, you want to maximize as much out of your starting pitcher as possible because they're consistently going 4, 5, 6 innings a game, and over the course of a season, that really adds up.
Popped up left side in foul territory. Martinez is there, and he makes the catch. Back-to-back outs for Kinsler after the double and the single that drove in 2 runs.
Well, it's been a good bounce back for Kinsler there, getting the 8 and 9 hitters out in Carlson and Gill, but now comes the tough test, and Aiden Alexander, the leadoff hitter, has really put a couple of nice swings on balls here tonight.
So make that the top of the lineup now. Aiden Alexander stepping to the plate for the 3rd time tonight. Singleton scored in the first, grounded out to end the 2nd inning to Josh Tate. Now has a runner on first with 2 away. With Jaden Kinsler on the ropes trying to escape this 4th inning and likely going to be his last inning of work here in his return to his home mound. There's a check over there to first base. You might have heard the boring chant by some of the fans here right in front of us. 0-1 squares the bunt for Alexander. That one is pulled back, and the count evens a ball and a strike to the leadoff man.
For Kinsler here, he has to stop the bleeding, and after getting 2 consecutive outs of Carlson and Gill, you have to get out Alexander here, because if you don't, then you have guys like Jose Perez, Micah Morgan, and Trent Corrali due up next, and those guys have really done a nice job against the Tom Sox this year and just overall in conference play.
1-1 heater, that's up and away. 2-1 the count. And that movement in the Tom Sox bullpen has seemed to stop. So Lyndon Coleman really putting his faith in Jaden Kinsler here in this 4th inning. After those back-to-back outs with the strikeout and the foul out. 2-1 to Alexander. There's a big cut, but no contact for Alexander, and the count evens. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 pitch away from escaping this jam for Kinsler. Barnett, the runner at first. 2-2 count to Alexander. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 4th strikeout of the game for Kinsler. He works out of it, but the Turks get 2, a double for Harris. A single for Barnett brings this game within 1. Charlottesville 5. Harrisonburg 4 as we head to the top half of the 5th here on the campus at James Madison. 4 full innings have come and gone here at Eagle Field at Veterans Memorial Park. Nathan Schwartz, Alex ROCCO with you here for Game 2 of this season series between the Tom Sox and the Turks. Charlottesville leads 5-4. Turks bring across 2 more runs in the bottom half of that 4th inning, and now David Wiley steps into the box, fouls away the first delivery from Scheifetz, who remains on the mound for his 3rd inning of work tonight.
Jason Scheifetz has really done a nice job coming out of the bullpen for the Turks, and this was a move that we sort of questioned because you had Lane Pearson who came on and really did a nice job an inning and a third, striking out 3 Tom Sock hitters, and looks like he was in control, but they decided and opted to go to Scheifetz, and he's looked equally just as good.
0-1 slider down and away for ball 1. Wiley got on base at a .408 clip in 46 games with Wofford this season. A .308 average as well, and that success has translated into his first game with Charlottesville this summer. There's a foul ball in the 1-2, but Wiley in his first 2 plate appearances, he drove in a run after getting hit by a pitch in the 1st inning with the bases loaded, and then in the top of the 3rd, he led off the inning with a single, but then got forced out at second on the double play for Jose Perez at short. 1-2 from Scheifetz, breaking ball, and that's a laser into left center for a base hit. Talk about waiting on the off speed. That's exactly how you do it right there for David Wiley. Both of his hits have come on hanging sliders, and he's now 2 for 2 with it ribby.
Wiley's been extremely impressive today, even in this latest at-bat, getting down on the count 1-2. Fouled off a couple of tough pitches there, but just lacing a ball into left field there, and that's exactly what you want for your hitters to bear down those 0-2, 1-2 counts and put a good swing on the ball.
He's been a second leadoff man for Charlottesville so far. Both innings where he's led off the inning, he has singled. In that 3rd inning, it didn't work out. Mentioned Josh Tate grounded into a double play. And now here in the 5th, we'll see what happens with Tate at the plate. There's a check over there to first with Wiley. Tate took the first pitch for ball 1. So a 1-0 count. Wiley at first. Charlottesville had a chance in the top half of the 4th, but the bases loaded and 1 out. Connor Hinks sent a fly ball way out to right center field, but it was caught on the track by Micah Morgan. 1-0 fastball. That does not clip the top of the zone, so it'll be 2-0 to Josh Tate. Second baseman from Georgia, hit .211 in just 19 at-bats this season with Georgia. Got knocked out in the 1st round of the SEC tournament as the 2-0 fastball outside corner, strike 1.
He's really had an impressive summer so far, though. Coming into tonight's contest, through 6 games, hit .348, 4 RBIs, and what's really impressed me about him is when he's gotten on base, he's used his legs, and he gets on base a lot. Has had a lot of multi-hit games. In his last game for the Tom Sox, went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs in the 10-9 victory over Woodstock. So he's just an on-base machine.
Wiley takes off on the 2-1, and he's in there head first. 3rd stolen base of the game for the Tom Sox, the 1st of the season for Wiley, and he'll move into scoring position with nobody out.
Well, Wiley fits right into this team, the small ball route and steal and take extra bases there. He had 9 stolen bases in his college season, so he's not afraid to run and shows off his wheels on that last stolen base.
3-1 swing and a miss from Josh Tate on a fastball on the outside edge. So the count moves full. First base now open with Wiley in scoring position after the single in the swipe bag. Full count pitch from Scheifetz. There's swing and a miss from Tate on the elevated heater. Tate now 0 for 2 in the game. The 2nd strikeout for Scheifetz, and 1 away for Bryce Martinez.
You could tell that Tate was upset with himself after that last strikeout there. Chased a high fastball up and out of the zone and just looked frustrated, shaking his head on the walk back to the dugout.
So reset in the count for Martinez. Another Wofford guy trying to drive in his Wofford teammate, and there's a single up the middle. He might just do it. Worth waves around Wiley around 3rd. The throw will not be in time. It's an RBI single for Bryce Martinez. His 2nd ribby of the night makes it 6-4 Tom Sox.
The Wofford connection coming in play here for Charlottesville. David Wiley getting on base with the single, and Bryce Martinez wasting no time there, grounding a ball right at the middle into center field. And we talked about Wiley and his speed. He made it all the way around from second to home there. The diving, sliding head first in a home plate, but that is a big insurance run for the Tom Sox there as Turks cut into their deficit, made it just a one-run game, but Charlottesville instantly matches.
Now Martinez takes off, and there's not going to be a throw. Carlson lost it on the transfer. And make that the second swipe bag of the inning for Charlottesville.
Martinez has a lot of speed. He stole 16 bases during his college season, also at Wofford. So both Wiley and Martinez like to run and showed it off here in the top of the fifth.
Oh, one slider on the outside corner for strike two to KJ Alexander, who's 1 for 1 in the ball game. He was hit by a pitch in the first and then singled in the fourth, but it was stranded at third base with the bases loaded. 0-2 delivery fouled away and keeps the count 0-2.
Nice job by Alexander once again just to foul off a couple of tough pitches here, and that's something that he's done all season long. While the average may not be there and he just has 2 total hits on the season, he's really done a nice job working counts and prolonging at-bats.
There's a ground ball to third, diving stop by Gill, long throw to first, and he's able to make it for out number 1. A Gold Glove effort play there for the Boilermaker at third base, and that's the second out.
Excellent job there by the third baseman, Gill. That ball was headed down that left field line, but nice sliding stop there by Gill. Pops up to his feet, makes a long throw over to first base to nab Alexander.
So now Sergio Rivera will step into the box. He's 2 for 2 in the game with 2 infield singles. That first one drove in a run. Second one put him at first base and was stranded at second when the bases were loaded. And he's quickly down 0-1. Fly ball left center field. This one playable. Barnett and Alexander converging. Alexander will make the catch for out number 3, but that Wofford connection on fire here in the top of the fifth. Martinez drives in Wiley to put another run on the board for the Tom Sox. At 6-4 as I'll hand the play-by-play duties over to my partner Alex Rocco for the rest of the way. It's Tom Sox 6, Turks 4 here in Harrisonburg.
6-4 is your score here as we head to the bottom of the fifth. I'm Alex Rocco, joined alongside by my broadcast partner, Nathan Schwartz. And we have a new pitcher on the mound for the Charlottesville Tom Sox. It's Jarvis Evans coming in for his second appearance on the season.
Yeah, and Jarvis had a really good start to his Tom Sox career as the first pitch he throws is down low for ball one. But looking at his numbers from his lone appearance, he went 4 innings, gave up 2 hits. He did struggle with a walk a little bit, walked 4, but struck out 8. Got out of 2 bases-loaded jams in that first game against Waynesboro, and now gets his first chance in 8 days.
Evans looked impressive against the Generals. Let's see what he can do here against the Turks. He's now down on the count 2-0 against the shortstop and 2-hole hitter, Jose Perez. 2-0 pitch finds a strike zone against Perez, who's 0-2 on the day, flew out in the first inning to center field and struck out looking in the third. 1 of 4 strikeouts from starting pitcher Jaden Kinsler, whose day is now done, as Evans once again finds the outside portion of the strike zone. The count's even at 2-2. So Kinsler's day is done, went 4 innings, struck out 4, walked 3, gave up 4 hits and 4 runs. As what a beautiful pitch there from Jarvis Evans to get the strikeout of Jose Perez as he's set down for the first out here in the bottom of the fifth.
Mentioned the 8 strikeouts, and what better way to start your second appearance of the season than with another strikeout? Make that 9 through 4 1/3 innings. There hasn't been a ton of guys on this team that have just shown electric strikeout stuff so far, Evans being one of the rare exceptions.
Well, Evans was electric in his senior year of high school, finished with a 9-2 record with a .78 ERA. Once again, he gets a first pitch strike against the 3-hole hitter in Micah Morgan. Morgan hit an RBI triple, which got the offensive party started for the Turks, and now waves through the 0-1 fastball and now is down on the count 0-2. Morgan would later ground out to Kyle Edwards in the bottom of the third, making him 1 for 2 on the day. The 0-2 pitch misses high from Evans. Moves the count to 1-2. Evans working out of the windup, takes a deep breath, now comes set, and deals his off-speed pitch, nearly clips Morgan. And now the count's even at 2-2.
And you don't want to give Morgan something across the inside part of the plate or right down the middle. You want to keep it on the outer edge where you can get that soft contact to the left side.
The 2-2 from Evans. That one drilled into the right center field gap. And it will play off the one bounce off the wall, fielded by Thomas, who relays it into Edwards at short, but a booming double with 1 out here in the bottom of the fifth from Micah Morgan, and the Turks once again are threatening.
It was very clear that Jarvis Evans was not listening to me right there because he left the fastball middle, right in the power zone for Micah Morgan, and what did he do? He drove it about 370 feet out to right center field, nearly got out of here, but it'll be a 1-out double for Morgan, his second extra base hit of the night.
Tripled in the first inning, doubled now here in the fifth. Just a home run and single away from the cycle. That'll bring in the first baseman and cleanup hitter tonight, Trent Corrali. Corrali on the day walked in the first inning and struck out swinging in the third. Took the first pitch inside for a ball from Evans. Evans now comes set, takes a look at Morgan at second base. His 1-0 pitch. Can't find the outside part of the plate. Now the count moves to 2-0.
A little bit of the same struggle here for Evans as Kinsler faced in that first inning, just finding a groove in his first couple batters.
Evans comes set on the 2-0 pitch. That's lined foul right into the protective netting there by Trent Corrali. And now the count goes to 2-1. You mentioned the control issues for Evans in that first game, 4 walks, and we've seen him sort of locate not the best here tonight, obviously on the double to Morgan, and now falling behind 2-1 to Corrali here. 2-1 pitch, misses the inside part of the plate. Now the count moves to 3-1.
And all the intangible stuff for Evans is there. You look at the frame, he's 6'4", 6'5", in that range. He's got fastball, changeup, slider, curveball. He's got all the pitches. He throws left-handed. It's just that location issue, and that's why you're here in the Valley League. You're working on your control. That way, when you get back to the University of Georgia in the fall, you've worked on honing in your location, and you're going to be ready to go for your sophomore season.
Well, Evans couldn't find the strike zone on the last pitch to Corrali, who works a walk, and now it's first and second here with one out. Charlottesville still leading 6-4 here in the bottom of the fifth. Morgan standing on second, Corrali standing on first after his one-out walk. To bring in the DH, Ben Barrett tonight. Barrett hit a sac fly in the first and walked and would later come around to score in the fourth inning. So he watches the first pitch. Miss down and in for a ball. Evans once again starting behind in the count.
That first pitch strike, so crucial. You look at across the board in college baseball this year, and that's been a real struggle and a trend for opposing teams in the batter's box when you move the count to 1-0, and then they're forced to throw a strike on the 1-0, or whether it be a 2-0 count, and then that's when you jump. That's when you get the pitch to hit on that 2-0 count, and that's universal across all baseball, but especially this year in the collegiate game, something that I noticed from doing over 30 games is that if you give a collegiate hitter a 2-0 fastball in their power zone, they're not going to miss it very often.
Well, two straight foul balls from Barrett there makes the count 1-2, but it's exactly right. That's how this collegiate game is moving, and it's the first pitch strike is imperative. After failing to get the first pitch strike here, let's see if Jarvis Evans can bounce back and get a crucial second out of this inning. Evans working out of the stretch here, gets the sign, takes the check of the runners. That one is fouled straight back behind home plate by Barrett. The count stays at 1-2.
Barrett a couple times tonight, you look back at his first at-bat, had the sac fly, and then he drew the walk in the fourth. He's putting together quality at-bats and has fought off a lot of breaking balls that he's gotten down on his toes, essentially. He's seen a lot of down and in from these lefty arms.
1-2 pitch from Evans misses high and outside for a ball. Count is now even at 2 apiece. He really has done a nice job at the plate, though. Coming into this contest, hitting .296, the Florida State sophomore outfielder standing at 6'4", 225 pounds. Has that ideal size to play at Florida State. And definitely has had a good summer season so far and looking to continue his success here tonight in at-bat number 3. Evans checks the runners, now deals his 2-2 pitch. That one bounces in the dirt, gets away from Alexander. He now makes the long throw over to second base. That one bounces over the head of Josh Tate, but backed up by Kyle Edwards, as now Trent Corrali moves up 90 feet. And more importantly for Charlottesville, Micah Morgan stands 90 feet away from being that 5th run.
And, you know, that's a pretty heads-up play for Alexander. He never had a chance to get Morgan at third, but Corrali got a really late jump on that double steal, and I don't even think he was going until that ball got in the dirt, but then Alexander had him hosed by about 40 feet, just airmailed it.
The 3-2 pitch to Barrett once again fouled off into the protective netting behind home plate, and a big battle brewing between Evans and Barrett here.
And this is exactly what you want to do if you're Barrett. Evans starts out with the strikeout, starting to feel good, then the double, then the walk. Now you're working the count, and eventually that fatigue is going to set in. He's going to give you the pitch you want.
3-2 pitch, got him chasing in the dirt. Alexander makes a throw over to first base. Now Barrett is officially retired for the second out of the inning, and that was a massive strikeout there of Ben Barrett from Jarvis Evans.
Yeah, he went right back to that breaking ball down and in. I was saying earlier in the at-bat that Barrett was doing such a good job of fighting off, but something about that arm slot, knowing that you've seen it a couple times and knowing where that pitch is, and just mentally you have on track that you've swung at that pitch 3 times in the at-bat already. It was just instinct to swing at that same pitch, but he just missed it.
2 strikeouts for Evans, and he gets a ground ball here from Cameron Harris. Grounded out to Kyle Edwards, who makes the routine play over to first base, and just like that, Jarvis Evans escapes out of damage. stranding 2 runners in scoring position as the Tom Sox still have a 6-4 lead as we head into the top of the 6th. Stay tuned for more Tom Sox baseball right here on Tom Sox TV. Jason Scheifetz's night is done. Enter Jacob Marlowe with his team trailing 6-4. And Nathan, what do you have on me for Marlowe?
Yeah, Marlowe, a lot of innings, the most I've seen out of any Valley League pitcher so far that we've covered over the first 6 games. He had 19 appearances with UCF this season, made 8 starts, was 3-6, and a 5.64 ERA over 60 2/3 innings.
Marlowe will deal with the top of the Tom Sock order. Leading things off is Justin Thomas. Thomas on the day, 1 for 2, doubled to start things off here in the first inning. Struck out in the second and hit a sacrifice bunt in the 4th.
And this is going to be the second appearance of the Valley League season for Marlowe. He got a start earlier in the season, went 3 innings, only gave up 1 hit, struck out 6. He's got a pretty funky windup from the left side, 3/4 slot, a little aggressive leg kick even, just essentially just messing with the mind of the hitters.
Marlowe up in the count 1-2, misses high on the 1-2 pitch, as now the count is even at 2-2 to Thomas. But you mentioned that funky delivery. It definitely could play an effect in on lefties as the 2-2 pitch popped high and out of play. So did the 2-2 count once more.
Please return to balls in the concession stand for a pre-easy pop compliments of Keith's Auto Sales.
Heard from the PA announcer that Marlowe transferring from UCF to Florida State. Something pretty interesting considering the amount of innings Marlowe got in his sophomore season with UCF, especially making those 8 starts. I'm sure a lot of those were in the midweek games. But nonetheless, Marlowe did show signs of having success with that night program.
3-2 pitch got him swinging. Justin Thomas set down for the first out here in the top of the 6th.
Thomas started things off nicely with that double, but that's now the second time he's gone down on strikes tonight, and that's really been the story of his season so far. Gets a hit here and there, but then just goes into this mode of not being able to make contact. Second strikeout tonight. He's only gotten on base at a 3.10 clip coming into the game.
Despite getting on base at that low of a clip, he has reached base in every game, which is signs for improvement. Now it brings up Kyle Edwards as he watches the first pitch. find the strike zone. He is now down on the count 0-1. But for Thomas, he gets on base occasionally, but the speed is a major factor in his game. Came into tonight with 6 stolen bases, tacked on another. As the next pitch to Edwards tried to find the outside part of the plate, unable to do so. Now the count's even at 1-1.
Kyle still looking for that first hit against the Turks this year. He was 0 for 4 with 2 Ks on Saturday, and he's 0 for 2 tonight.
Some teams just have your number, and I mean, not to say that the Turks have Kyle Edwards' number, but definitely not inspiring confidence as he watches the next pitch go over for a strike. Now the count is 2-2. 2-2 pitch to Edwards, laced on the ground, fielded by the shortstop Perez. He bobbles it for a second, and that ball bounces over the first baseman Corrali as Edwards will stick on first base. See legs out what could be ruled a single, but probably an error by Perez.
Yeah, more than likely an error. He had the bobble by Perez off the jump, and then just the wide throw, and is ruled an error on the scoreboard. So first error of the ball game. Seemed like we should have had one already with all the chaos we had in that first inning when 7 runs were scored. Been pretty dormant since then, but there's that first error of the game, and Edwards reaches for the first base runner of the 6th inning.
Now that brings up Hollis Porter as he grounds one into left field there. Edwards rounding second. He will go into third. He's diving head first. He's safe. Hollis Porter advances up to second base, and just like that, the Tom Sox are threatening with 2 in scoring position after the single there by Hollis Porter.
And Lyndon Coleman said coming into the season, Lyndon Coleman teams are going to steal bases. And it wasn't a stolen base, but the aggressive nature of this team on the base pass showing out there 100%. Kyle Edwards on a ground ball to the left side. Wasn't a deep ground ball. Gets past the glove of Ty Gill diving, but he goes first to third. Plenty of speed. And then Hollis Porter, the awareness to not even hesitate going around first, knowing the throw was going to go into third and take second base. And just like that, on a ground ball to third base, you go from runners on first to 2 runners in scoring position.
Now that brings up Connor Hinks as he's facing the lefty, and Marlowe waves through the first pitch from him. So now he's down on the count 0-1, but just the nature and the aggressiveness of this Tom Sock team to always hunt for that extra base or take that extra jump or extra lead really has been impressive. And right here gets Hinks out of a double play spot with 2 runners in scoring position and 2 ducks on the pond there, and could easily be, if Hinks gets a ball in the outfield, an 8-4 game.
Sure got one in the outfield. That last at bat nearly missed the grand slam that would have put Charlottesville up 9-2 at the time. I'm sure he would love to put another charge into a fastball here.
Hinks over 2 on the day. That flyout that Nathan just mentioned also struck out in the second, swinging, and walked in the first. Would later come around to score on that walk. Now he's tasked in a big spot in a 6-4 game. So he watches the next pitch, find the strike zone, and he's down on the count 0-2.
And Alex, you mentioned a couple of minutes ago about the funky delivery, especially to a left-handed batter. You saw Porter have to wait on the slider and go the other way. Similar spot here for Hinks.
Hinks puts a ball on the ground, fielded by the second baseman Harris. He makes the easy play, gets Hinks at first base. Coming in to score for the Tom Sox is Kyle Edwards, as they now take a 7-4 lead here in the top of the 6th with 2 outs.
And the Tom Sox never do it the pretty way, but they get runs across and get the job done. You get the error, the single the other way, and then rolling over on a ground ball to the right side with a runner on third. That's all you need to do to get a run across the plate in a tight game like this, where the pitching seems to be giving up runs in 2 at a time. Getting that run to put you up by 3 is going to be huge later down the line.
Well, there still is another runner out on base as Hollis Porter moved up on the ground ball, so he stands at third base with 2 outs here, bringing in David Wiley so far in his Tom Sock debut. It couldn't have gone any better for him. 2 for 2. Also had an RBI and a hit by pitch and had a stolen base. So he's really done it all, as now he's even at the count after he swung and waved through a off-speed pitch at 1-1. Wiley getting the start in right field today as he watches the next pitch miss high for a ball. Marlowe looking to stop the bleeding here and keep it just a one-run inning for the Tom Sox. His 2-1 pitch lined and fouled well out of the stadium here. Now deuces are wild here in the top of the 6th. 2-2 count, 2 out. Runner on third base in Hollis Porter. Marlowe toes the rubber, gets a sign from his catcher, now deals on the 2-2 pitch. Got him looking. Jacob Marlowe goes with the off-speed pitch and freezes David Wiley for the final out of the top of the 6th. But Charlottesville tacks on another run as they now take a 7-4 lead here in the bottom of the 6th. Stay tuned for more action right here on Top Sox TV. After tacking on a run here in the top of the 6th, the Tom Sox will look to preserve its 7-4 lead here to start off the bottom of the 6th, and leading things off for the Harrisonburg Turks, the 7th hole hitter and left fielder, Sean Barnett. Barnett digs in against Jarvis Evans in his second inning of work and checks his swing on the first pitch, but DMT didn't go around, and that pitch was low for a ball. So Barnett is ahead in the count 1-0. Evans gets a sign from Alexander. His 1-0 pitch misses outside for a ball. Barnett's now ahead in the count 2-0.
Barnett did a little bit of it all at Wingate this year. 344 average, slugged 588, got on base at a 439 clip. And so far today, he's 1 for 2 with an RBI. So kind of a little bit of that Swiss Army knife action at 31 RBI in the collegiate season, 13 doubles, 12 walks, and was hit 17 times by a pitch. So he's an on-base machine, and that trend's continued here in the Valley League season.
Barnett fouls 2 straight pitches off, and now the count is even at 2-2, but getting hit 17 times is honestly kind of impressive. Just shows you his approach at the plate, crowding the plate, making pitchers work inside on him, and he's not afraid to take a pitch. A 2-2 pitch from Evans to Barnett once again popped well and high out of play. Nice battle brewing here to open up the bottom of the 6th. Mentioned Barnett's success, though, at Wingate. Coming into tonight, hitting just 111 with 1 RBI, tacked on an RBI earlier in this contest, so now up to 2 as he puts a charge into a ball deep in the left field, but it's Sergio Rivera putting it away for the first out and first loud out of the bottom of the 6th.
And one thing that we've seen with the transition from aluminum to the wood bats is just the lack of home runs, and that's obviously expected with the change in lumber, but nonetheless, love to see a ball escape the yard every once in a while, and that's just been missing from Tom Sox baseball here for the first 7 games. Henry Ford had one in his first game back at Covington, and then I don't even remember who hit the second one. Do you remember?
It was Jacob Bennett.
It was, yeah, Culpeper. That's right.
Yeah, no, the lack of power is definitely alarming in this game, as now it's bringing up Gunnett Carlson here as he fouls off the first pitch from Evans. But definitely that transition, like you mentioned, going from the aluminum bats that they're so prone to using in college baseball, trade it for the piece of wood, and ball definitely doesn't go as further, as now Carlson down to the count 0-2 as Evans just pouring it in the strike zone.
Selfishly, I just want a home run call. I'm not going to lie to you. It's been a minute. But yeah, I thought Hanks was going to have one earlier in the game. But and I thought that one for Barnett right there had a chance to leave the yard, but it just hung up in the air and only went about 290 feet.
Definitely would be fun to call a home run, and definitely would provide a little bit more action in this contest. But now the count's 1-2 to Carlson. Evans working out of the windup now gets a sign from Alexander. His 1-2 pitch misses high for a ball. Carlson's evened up the count at 2-2. Carlson getting the catching duties tonight. Now he watches the 2-2 pitch. Missed too far inside for a ball. Evans going with the off-speed pitch. Couldn't find the inside portion of the plate, and now he's worked it to a full count.
The walk's dangerous for Evans in that first appearance. We'll see if he gets it back in there.
He is unable to do so, as that 3-2 pitch misses too far inside in that left-hander's batter's box, as Gunnett Carlson will take the stroll down to first base with a one-out walk.
Second walk of the game so far for Evans, and that just seems to be his kryptonite. He was able to work out of it against Waynesboro in game one, and again able to work out of it in that fifth inning. We'll see if that success with runners on base will continue here in this sixth.
Evans 6 walks so far on the campaign, but pours in a first pitch strike to the 9-hole hitter in Ty Gill. Gill on the day 0 for 1, popped up in the fourth and walked in the second. Evans now checks the runner at first base, now deals to Gill. A big swing and a miss there. Now the count is 0-2. Evans looking for the strikeout here. Picked up 2 strikeouts in the bottom of the fifth. Now looking for strikeout number 3. Comes set, checks the runner, now deals the 0-2 pitch. That misses high and outside for a ball. And the count to Gill is 1-2.
A lot of 2-strike counts for Jarvis so far, and he's worked that slider and curveball in effectively on these 2-strike pitches. I think he goes back to it here.
1-2 pitch to Gill. That one's skied well out of play down the left field line. So didn't go with the off-speed pitch there. Stuck it with the hard stuff, and Gill will just put that ball out of play, and we'll live to see another pitch from Evans.
With that foul ball, now you have the opportunity. You can locate that fastball. He went up and in. Now you could go down and away with the fastball, or you could go inside with the slider.
1-2 pitch. That one skied in right field. Wiley backtracking. Will take another step nearly to the track, but will put it away for the second out of the inning as Carlson stays on first base after another deep fly ball from the Turk offense.
Jarvis playing with fire right there. Elevated changeup, middle. And Ty Gill, not the biggest guy in the world. If you give that pitch to Micah Morgan, that ball is going over the high wall in right center field, and Harrisonburg brings this game back within 1. But able to get the out, and at the end of the day, that's all Jarvis Evans has to do.
Have to know your opponent and know your hitter, and if you're going to make a mistake, rather it be to a guy that doesn't have the same power as a guy like Micah Morgan or Trent Corrali. But that'll bring up Aiden Alexander, who fakes the bunt and pulls back. Regardless, though, that pitch is in there for a strike, and he's down on the count 0-1 against Jarvis Evans. Alexander on the day, 1 for 3. Singleton would later come around to score to lead things off in the first inning. Grounded out in the second, struck out swinging in the fourth. Watches the next pitch in the dirt from Evans as the count is even at 1-1. Evans checks the runner in Carlson at first base. Now gets a sign from Alexander. Deals the 1-1 pitch, fouled straight back into the protective netting behind home plate. He's ahead in the count now, 1-2. Alexander came into this game one of the hottest hitters in this Harrisonburg offense, hitting .417 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. Now Evans comes set, and deals the 1-2 pitch. That one misses high and outside for a ball, and Alexander evens the count at 2-2. This would be a big out here for Evans, not only to get out of this bottom of the 6th, but to keep the meat of the lineup coming up. And this one, Scott in right field, Wiley on a beat on it. He puts it away nearing the right field line for the 3rd out of the inning. Jarvis Evans works a nice bottom of the 6th, stranding Gunnar Carlson after the walk as we head to the top of the 7th with the Tom Sox still leading 7-4. Stick with us. We head to the final 3 innings here at Eagle Field on the campus of JMU. I'm Alex Rocco, joined alongside by my broadcast partner, Nathan Schwartz. And leading things off for the Charlottesville Tom Sox is the second baseman, Josh Tate, facing Jacob Marlowe now in his 2nd inning of work. First pitch from Marlowe misses high and in tight for a ball to Tate. Tate on the night, 0 for 2. Grounded out, struck out, also walked in the 1st inning, would later come around to score. He's also stolen a base, and now he's ahead in the count 2-0, as Marlowe having trouble locating the zone on the first 2 pitches to the Georgia infielder. 2-0 pitch, that one right down Main Street. It's in there for a strike.
Josh really just hasn't had the luck tonight, especially in his last 2 at-bats. Grounded into that double play in the 3rd, struck out in the 5th. He takes another heater upstairs for ball 3. Did have that RBI on the walk, though, back in the 1st.
Tate on the year, that's his 5th RBI, and his 6th stolen base he tacked on, but ways through the 3-1 pitch, and now after being in control in this at-bat, Marlowe has made it a full count. Marlowe gets a sign from his catcher, and Carlson deals a 3-2 pitch. That one misses low and inside for a ball, and Josh Tate will work his 2nd walk of the night and leads us off here in the top of the 7th.
That's how you got to do it. Leadoff hitter in the inning, find a way to get on base, whether you're hitting in the 6th spot like Tate or you're the leadoff man like Justin Thomas. That's got to be the goal. Every time you step into the box to lead off an inning, figure out a way to get yourself to first base, and that's exactly what Josh Tate did right there.
Now it's Bryce Martinez digging in for at-bat number 4, had a sacrifice fly in the 1st inning, grounded out in the 3rd, and hit an RBI single back in the 5th, as now he's down on the count 0-2 after he fouls a ball out of play. Martinez also picked up a stolen base in the 5th inning, continuing the trend of Tom Sock players liking to run and taking that extra base. Marlowe now working out of the stretch. Big swing and a miss as that one is foul tipped right into the glove of Carlson, and Martinez is retired for the 1st out of the inning.
catcher.
Digging into the right-handers batter's box now is the catcher for the Tom Sox, Calvin Alexander. Alexander on the day was hit by a pitch, singled in the 4th, and grounded out in the 5th. So he watches the first pitch miss up for a ball. He's ahead in the count 1-0. Marlowe now comes set, checks on Tate, delivers the 1-0 pitch. That one runs too far inside. And Alexander's ahead in the count 2-0.
Alexander has worked a couple of nice at-bats tonight. A little bit different approach than we've seen in the first 3 games for him.
Tate takes off, tries to steal second. The throw not in time, and Josh Tate picks up stolen base. Number 2 for him on the night.
Once again, we keep going back to it, but that's what this Tom Sox team's going to do. They're going to steal bases now. The 8th stolen base of the year for Tate ties him with Sergio Rivera for the team lead.
Tate and Rivera especially like to run, but up and down this team, Justin Thomas has 6 stolen bases. Kyle Edwards has 3. Connor Hanks has 3. Just speed is plentiful in this lineup as Alexander takes the 3-0 pitch right down Main Street for a strike, and now he's ahead of the count 3-1 here with 1 out. The top of the 7th, Tom Sox still lead 7-4 over the Harrisonburg Turks. Marlowe now comes set, gets a sign from Carlson, and that one's blasted deep in the left field, and that one's gone. Calvin Alexander launches the 3-1 pitch deep over the left field wall. And Nathan, we talked about the home run ball not being a part of the Tom Sox games. Well, Calvin Alexander heard you, and he delivered in a massive way, making it a 9-4 game.
And there's the home run we asked for, and the home run the Tom Sox needed to have at this point in the game. You can never have enough insurance runs, and Calvin Alexander delivering. It gets that fastball on the inside part of the plate and drills it over that left field wall. Now a 5-run lead back to tying the largest lead of the night.
Alexander hit 6 home runs in 18 games for the Tom Sox last season. He picks up home run number 1 here tonight. Now Sergio Rivera steps into the right-hander's batter's box. He watches the first pitch from Marlowe miss out of the zone. The 1-0 to Rivera once again. Couldn't locate the strike zone as Marlowe, and now Rivera's in the driver's seat, up 2-0 in the count.
One of the big stigmas around the catcher position is that the catchers don't hit particularly well because they're so focused on the defensive aspect of the game. But so far this season, the 3 home runs hit for Charlottesville, 2 of them have come from the catcher position. Catchers rake, and they're proving it here in the Valley League.
That is exactly right, as Jacob Bennett hit the other home run for a Tom Sox catcher. Henry Ford, the non-catcher for Charlottesville, hitting a home run, and now Sergio Rivera was ahead on the count 3-0. Now it's 3-2 as Marlowe finding the strike zone and working quickly here. Rivera 2 singles on the night, and will look to make it 3 as he skies this one in the right field. Morgan giving chase. He will put it away for the second out of the inning as Marlowe picks up a big out number 2. Digging in now for the Tom Sox is the leadoff hitter, Justin Thomas. Thomas struck out to start things off in the top of the 6th. Let's see what he can do here against Marlowe in the 7th. First pitch from Marlowe goes with the off-speed pitch. That nabs the outside portion of the plate. It's in there for a strike. The 0-1 to Thomas. That one misses low and inside for a ball, and the count's even at 1-1. Thomas, 2 strikeouts on the night, doubled to start off the game, also stole third base in the first inning as he pops this one over the press box. Now he's down to the count 1-2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Marlowe working out of the windup, comes set and deals. It got him looking. Little delay on the umpire's strike 3 call, but Justin Thomas down looking for the 3rd time in tonight's contest. But just because Justin Thomas struck out doesn't mean that the other Tom Sox batters made out. But Calvin Alexander delivered in a big way, delivering a 2-run home run to extend the Tom Sox lead to 9-4 as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Stay tuned for more baseball right here on Tom Sox TV. Jarvis Evans back out for another inning of work as Jose Perez digs in from the right-hander's batter's box as he watches the first pitch. Miss outside for a ball. Perez on the day. Rare 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts looking, and this is a guy that had a lot of success against Charlottesville. First time these two teams matched up as he grounds this ball out to the second baseman, Josh Tate. He quickly fields and fires and retires Perez for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th.
And that's exactly what you got to do to Perez. They've been attacking him. They've been putting him on the corners, making sure they keep him on his toes in the box. And now that's a fly out, 2 strikeouts, and a ground out for Perez. Way different story than his 2 for 5, 4 RBI game less than a week ago.
Well, and one of those hits was a home run, too. Just one of 2 home runs that he's hit, has 9 RBIs on the season. But now that brings up Micah Morgan, and he's had a lot of success today. Doubled, tripled in this game. A homer and single away from the cycle is Morgan as he watches the first pitch from the lefty. Evans miss out of the zone for a ball. Next pitch from Evans. Once again, couldn't find the strike zone there. Now Morgan's in the driver's seat up 2-0. His RBI triple in the first inning got the offense going for the Turks as he watches the 2-0 pitch find the strike zone. Now still ahead in the count is Morgan up 2-1. Evans working out of the windup now deals a 2-1 pitch. That one's chopped on the ground to the shortstop, Kyle Edwards. He fires over to first base, and just like that, 2 quick groundouts for Jarvis Evans to open up the bottom of the 7th.
Not only has the offense just been absolutely on fire tonight at points for Charlottesville, but the defense continues to just be absolutely phenomenal. Ground ball after ground ball, fly ball after fly ball, no mistakes at all. Edwards so fluid over there at short. Tate's gotten a lot of action at second as well.
Fielding definitely has been on the stronger side for the Tom Sox here tonight, and their pitchers have let these hitters put the ball in play as once again, another chopper out to the shortstop, Kyle Edwards, makes the routine play over to first base, and 3 straight ground balls will get Jarvis Evans out of the bottom of the 7th here as we head to the top of the 8th with Charlottesville still leading 9-4. Stick with us here on Tom Sox TV.
The top of the 8th.
After making the last 2 plays in the bottom of the 7th, Kyle Edwards is set to lead things off for Charlottesville to open up the top of the 8th as they still have a 9-4 lead here at Eagle Field on the campus of JMU. Jacob Marlowe once again out for another inning of work as he pours in a first pitch strike to Edwards. The 0-1 pitch, that one's lined down the left field line, but foul. Edwards put a good charge into that one, but unable to keep it fair. Now he's down on the count 0-2.
A lot of times it works like this where you make a couple plays in the infield, you tend to lead off that next inning at the plate.
Edwards in search of hit number 1 on the night, and he skies this one in the right center field gap. Giving it a chase is Alexander, but caught by the right fielder in Morgan for a loud first out of the top of the 8th.
I'm just caught a little too much air. If it's more on the line, that's easily 2, probably 3 bags for the speedy Edwards, but just enough for Morgan to race over there and make the catch for out number 1.
Designated hitter, Hollis.
Now stepping into bat is the left-handed hitting designated hitter Hollis Porter as the first pitch to Porter. Runs too far inside as he has to back up a couple of steps. Recatch his breath and step into the batter's box here. Next pitch from Marlowe. That one's grounded out to the second baseman Harris. He's on his diving stop. Makes the throw over to Corrali at first base, and a nice play by the second baseman Harris to retire Porter.
Talk about pace of play. I mean, we're just getting out after out after out after out here in these last couple of innings, and that's now 4 in a row retired for Marlowe, and then you look back for Evans. He's retired 5 in a row. So these pitchers really starting to find a rhythm.
Jacob Marlowe getting into a groove and gets Connor Hinks to wave through the first pitch off-speed pitch. Hinks stepping in, working on at-bat number 5, tacked on an RBI in his last at-bat. Now the count's even at 1-1. Marlowe working out of the windup. Now deals the 1-1 pitch. Once again pulls the string on Hinks, and he's down on the count 1-2. Marlowe looking for a 1-2-3 inning here. He might get it as this one's chopped on to the first baseman. Corrali, takes it to the bag for the easy 3 unassisted. Tom Sox go 1-2-3 here in the top of the 8th as we head to the bottom of the 8th with Charlottesville still leading 9-4. Stick with us for an exciting finish to this one here on the campus of JMU. Jarvis Evans back out to begin the bottom of the 8th, facing the 5-hole hitter in Ben Barrett. Barrett, the DH tonight. He's had a pretty good night at the plate. Hit a sac fly in the first inning, walked and would later come around to score in the 4th, and struck out in the 5th. Jarvis Evans working out of the windup, gets a sign from his catcher in KJ Alexander. That pitch misses low for a ball to Barrett. So he's up in the count 1-0. 1-0 pitch from Evans. That one lined straight back into the protective netting as the count even at 1-1.
Sorry. No, you're good, man. You're good. I'm doing a bunch of other things. I just figured I'd touch in here, but Evans looked really efficient. Retired 5 in a row. Really started to find a groove. In that first inning, we saw him. A lot of 2-strike counts, but kept getting back down in the count. And now in this 6th and 7th inning, he's really gotten ahead and stayed ahead.
Well, I think we're on the same wavelength here as now Barrett fouls this one right out of play, because I was going to talk about Evans. I was going to talk about his battery mate and Alexander's. He's really called a good game tonight, and while guided some trouble with Jaden Kinsler on the mound, Jarvis Evans has really settled in, and got to give credit to Alexander. He's blocked a lot of pitches behind home plate and called a good game so far. As got him swinging is Jarvis Evans, as Ben Barrett is retired for the first out of the bottom of the 8th.
The strikeout continues to be the way that Evans loves to get outs. His 3rd tonight now, double digits on the season, now 11, in just 7 1/3 innings.
Evans now will face the next hitter in Cameron Harris as he skies this one out of right field, and easily putting it away for the second out of the inning is Wiley. We talked about it during the break, Nathan, and this game is flying by in the latter portion of it. Seems like 1-2-3 inning after 1-2-3 inning. Evans got a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the 7th. Marlowe did so the same in the top of the 8th, and Evans has gotten the first 2 outs here. And this one is skied straight away into center field on the first pitch to Barnett, and that one is caught by Justin Thomas. And just like that, Jarvis Evans works back-to-back 1-2-3 innings. We head to the top of the 9th with the Tom Sox still leading 9-4. Stick with us for more Charlottesville baseball right here on Tom Sock TV. The Turks trail this one 9-4 as we head to the top of the 9th, and they will go to their bullpen and bring on the right-handed reliever Chad Heiner. Heiner attends Marshall, and now we'll work to David Wiley to lead things off here in the 9th. Wiley on the day, 2 for 3 with an RBI, a strikeout, and struck out in his last at-bat, looking to get on base for a 4th time here to lead things off. He's now ahead in the count 2-0 against Heiner. This is Heiner's 4th appearance on the year, pitching to a tune of a 1.80 ERA and 5 innings of work. As that pitch right there finds the outside portion of the strike zone. So now the count moves to 2-1. Heiner, 5 innings of work, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Heiner once again trying to locate on that outside part of the plate, unable to do so now. Now Wiley's in the driver's seat, up 3-1. Heiner working out of the windup now, deals his 3-1 pitch. That one finds the strike zone there, and now Wiley shaking his head, but makes it a full count rather. Heiner's 3-2 pitch misses low and outside for a ball, and David Wiley draws the walk. So he will trot down to first base with a leadoff walk to open up the top of the ninth.
Wiley really has done it all. We keep talking about it, but you mentioned earlier, Alex, the hit by pitch, the stolen base, now the walk, 2 singles, RBI. Heck of a debut for Wiley.
He's really made his impact on Tom Sock baseball, getting on 4 times tonight, also picked up a stolen base. Now he's off and running this time, and no throw from Carlson there as Wiley swipes his second bag of the night.
Take what the defense gives you. That's what the game plan is. Got to roll with it. And even here in the 9th inning up by 5, can never have too many runs.
And the Tom Sox just love to steal bases as Wiley picks up another one. We're going to get a chat on the mound between Heiner and Carlson here. Now it's Josh Tate digging in. That first pitch was deemed a strike. Tate on the day looking for his first hit, and that's a rare occurrence as this guy is a on-base and base hit machine coming into this contest, hitting .348, but Tate has walked twice, stolen 2 bases, scored 2 runs, just looking for that 1 hit. He's also grounded into a double play and struck out. Wiley on second. Gets looked back by Heiner. Wiley taking a big lead, just dancing there as Heiner delivers the 0-1 pitch. That one low and in the dirt for a ball. Count now even at 1-1. Looks like the Turk defense not really paying a whole lot of attention to Wiley over there on second base as he just continues to dance. Nearly was halfway down the third baseline as Tate lines one into right field. Wiley gets waved around. He will come in to score, and just like that, Josh Tate extends the Tom Sock lead to 10-4 after the RBI single into right field.
Can never have enough runs. That's exactly how you do it. The walk, the stolen base, and then a single the other way. That is small ball manufacturing runs at its finest, and now double-digit runs once again for Charlottesville.
This offense has really come alive, and if you would have said that a couple of games ago, I probably would have looked like you're crazy. As Josh Tate now swipes second base, as the Tom Sox are continuing to run on the catcher in Carlson there, but Tate sliding in feet first into second base, picks up another stolen base.
Continue to pour it on. Setting up more chances in runners in scoring position now for Martinez.
Bryce Martinez digging in here. Looking to continue his impressive Tom Sock debut. Heiner's 1-0 pitch fouled right back into the protective netting behind home plate. This Tom Sock offense, though, like we were talking about, they scored off against the Turks just a few games ago, and its team was only held to 2 runs, and the offense was really struggling. But after that, they've really come alive with a couple of nice offensive performances. 10 runs here tonight. Scored 10 runs earlier in the week, too. Even against Culpeper, that was a mercy rule game, and just a lot of positive offensive signs for Charlottesville. The 2-1 pitch to Martinez, low and outside for a ball. He's ahead of the count now, 3-1. Martinez had a sacrifice fly in the first inning, grounded out in the third, had an RBI single in the 5th, and struck out in the 7th. This is at-bat number 5 for him. So he laces one up the middle, nearly caught by the second baseman Harris. That one ricochets off of his glove, fielded by the shortstop Perez, but not in time to catch Martinez. So he has a line drive single, and Tate stays on second base, but once again, 2 runners on for the Tom Sox.
These Wofford guys came to play, getting their first chance this season in game number 7. You look at Wiley, we just talked about him, 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 stolen bases. Martinez now 2 for 4 with a couple RBIs and a stolen base to his name.
Now it's Calvin Alexander who digs in here, and he had the big blow in this game as both runners take off. Tate and Martinez, as Carlson isn't even going to throw down to third or second, so they will easily swipe another bases, or another bag rather. And Nathan, I don't know how many times we can keep on saying this. They're just going to continue to run.
They're not going to stop until somebody throws them out. And even then, I don't even think they're going to stop after that. That's exactly the mentality for Coach Coleman on the first base side. And I don't know whether he's given the signs or whether it's Brian Worth over there at third base or whether it's just whether it's a green light for some of these guys and they're just going when they want to go. But nonetheless, it's a way to win a ball game.
Now this pitch gets away from Carlson. Coming in easily to score is Josh Tate. And after the wild pitch there by Heiner, the Tom Sox now lead 11-4. Moving up on the wild pitch there is Martinez, so he's 90 feet away from scoring. And the man at bat is Calvin Alexander. And Alexander, in his last at bat, made some history. His 7th home run in 22 games is a new Tom Sox career record. And he really has been impressive with the power as he draws a 4-pitch walk and had 6 home runs in 18 games last season. Now picks up his first home run in his 4th game here tonight.
Left fielder, Sergio Rivera.
Just a lot going on in this game right now, in this 9th inning especially. You have a walk, a stolen base, then Tate drives in Wiley with a single, stolen base, single, double steal, and now a walk, and now another stolen base.
As Alexander takes off after the first pitch from Heiner, that one misses for a ball, and no throw from Carlson as Alexander swipes second base. So 2 runners in scoring position now for the left fielder Sergio Rivera. Still no outs in this inning, and that's the crazy part is Charlottesville can put a lot more damage on the board. Still 2 runs have come in this inning. No outs, runners on second and third. Heiner's 1-0 pitch finds a strike zone. Now he gets set to deal the 1-1 pitch. Gets a sign from his catcher and Carlson. Now deals the 1-1, goes with the off-speed pitch, nabs the inside corner. Now Rivera is down on the count 1-2.
It's arguably the best pitch that we've seen tonight. Breaking ball, starts letters high, ends right at the knees. Just a buckling breaking ball there for Heiner.
Heiner comes set, deals the 1-2 pitch, chopped on the ground to the shortstop Perez. He fields, fires, gets Rivera at first. Coming in to score is Bryce Martinez, extending the Charlottesville lead to 12-4.
Stolen bases lead to runs. That's the recipe for success. Charlottesville's done it all tonight. Walk, hit batsman, doubles, home runs, stolen bases, you name it. At some point, they've done it offensively tonight. Other than the triple, I don't believe we've had a triple tonight.
There has yet to be a triple, but with Justin Thomas digging in and the speed that he has, if he gets one in the gap, you never know as he waves through the 0-1 pitch from Heiner, and Thomas is quickly down on the count 0-2. Thomas looking to avoid his 4th strikeout of the night. Opened things up with a double, also stole third base, but things have gone downhill for him since. The 0-2 pitch to Thomas. That one runs too far inside for a ball. Thomas backing out of the way there, trying to get hit out of the right-hander's batter's box. Heiner shakes off his catcher and Carlson a couple of times. Now he agrees on a pitch that he likes. Now deals the 1-2 pitch. That one misses high for a ball. Thomas evens the count at 2-2. Heiner looking to get the second out of the inning and to Thomas here, and he does just that. Justin Thomas strikes out looking for a 4th time tonight as he will take the long stroll back to the dugout now as Heiner records the second out of this inning. Now digging in is the shortstop Kyle Edwards. Edwards on the night still looking for his first hit, but he's been on base twice, reached on an error in the 6th, and walked in the 4th. Edwards fouls the first pitch off down the first base line from Chad Heiner. The runner on second is Calvin Alexander. He reached on a walk and stole second. Edwards looking to drive him in for the 13th Tom Sock run here tonight is the next pitch from Heiner. That one bounces low and in the dirt, kept in front by the catcher, Carlson.
Kyle just one of 2 Tom Socks to not get a hit tonight. We'll see if he can change that right here.
Edwards skies this one deep in the right field. Giving chase is the right fielder, Morgan, and he puts that away for the 3rd out of the inning. But not before the Tom Sox tack on another 3 runs and extend their lead to 12-4. Alexander was stranded at second, but we head to the bottom of the 9th with the Turks down 12-4. Stick with us to see if the Turks can mount a comeback or if Charlottesville can capture its 4th straight victory. The Harrisonburg Turks trail 12-4 to begin the bottom of the 9th. Do they have a comeback in their bones, or can Jarvis Evans lead the Tom Sox to their 4th straight victory? The first pitch from Evans to Gunnett Carlson. This is inside for a ball as that pitch just goes right back to the backstop. And Nathan, there's been some history tonight.
Absolutely. Now, it seems like this record's going to get broken a lot this year, but now a new record for the Tom Sox, 10 stolen bases, most in a single game in team history.
Well, the crazy thing is they set this just a couple of games ago, literally a week ago from tonight. The team record, they stole 9 bases, and now they break it again with 10. Lyndon Coleman's teams love to run, and that they have done tonight. Came into the game with 33 stolen bases. Now that totals up to 43. As Evans is ahead in the count on Carlson. 1-2. Got him looking. Jarvis Evans drops in the beautiful breaking pitch there to freeze Gunnett Carlson for the first out here of the bottom of the 9th.
4th strikeout of the game for Evans, 12th on the season. And talk about giving you length. Goes 4 innings in his first appearance. Now likely going to finish this game out and go 5 in appearance number 2.
Jarvis Evans has been masterful tonight. Worked out a couple of jams when he first came in the 5th, but has been smooth sailing ever since. Now the first pitch in to the pinch hitter for the Turks is Tyler Borges. Borges pinch hitting for Ty Gill. Gill was playing third base. Gill was 0 for 2 on the night. Now Borges, let's see if he can have any better luck, but he pops this one right behind home plate, and that will land in the stands. Alexander gave it a run behind home plate, but couldn't come up with the grab. Now Evans is ahead on the count, 0-2. Borges on the year. Played in 6 games coming into tonight, hitting .231, no home runs, no RBIs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Evans gets the sign from his catcher. Alexander now deals on the 0-2 pitch. Releases high and outside for a ball. Borges still down to the count, 1-2. Evans now gets the sign, deals the 1-2 pitch, trying to find that outside corner. Unsuccessful once more. Now Borges evens the count at 2-2. This is a tough spot for a pinch hitter to be coming in a 12-4 game as Borges waves through an off-speed pitch by Jarvis Evans. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the bottom of the 9th, and Charlottesville is 1 out away from capturing the 4th straight win.
Pitching, number 18, Hunter Fansler.
Now it's Hunter Fansler pinch hitting for Aiden Alexander. Fansler just his 4th at-bat on the season. He's yet to get a hit. Now Evans deals the 0-0 pitch. That one high and in tight for a ball. Fansler's up in the count, 1-0. Fansler attends West Virginia Tech. The junior outfielder standing at 6'3", 180 pounds. Watches the next pitch from Evans float right over the plate. And evens count at 1-1. What Jarvis Evans has done for this Tom Sock team this year has really been impressive. The 2 games that he's come in, really giving them a lot of length, is now Fansler waves through the 1-1 pitch, and the Turks are down to their final strike here tonight. 1-2, 2 out here in the bottom of the 9th. Jarvis Evans 1-2 pitch, blows it right by him. 3 straight strikeouts to end the bottom of the 9th, and just like that, the Charlottesville Tom Sox come away with a 12-4 victory over the Harrisonburg Turks to improve on the year to an impressive 4 straight victories.
And they did it. How you're going to win games in this league: stolen bases, timely hitting, taking the bases when they're given to you, the free passes. You go back to that 5 spot in the first inning with all the walks and the hits batsmen. That's how you have to jump in those types of innings. Get the 5 runs. If you don't capitalize on those opportunities, you're not going to win a lot of games. But they did that. Kept the foot on the gas late in the game, especially in that 9th inning, tacking on those 3 runs, and make it now 4 games in a row. The Tom Sox win and potentially could hop into first place with a win tomorrow against Purcellville.
Charlottesville improves to 5-2 on the year and a perfect 4-0 away from CHO Airport Field. But just to wrap things up here tonight, offensively, the Tom Sox exploded for 12 runs. Nathan, who stood out to you offensively?
It's got to be KJ Alexander, right? I mean, I could go down the list and name something everybody in this lineup did good tonight, but KJ Alexander breaking the Tom Sox home run record with that mammoth 2-run blast in the 7th inning. When you break a record in a Tom Sox uniform, that's going to always catch my attention. But I'm also going to name, I'm sure I'm stealing your thunder with this, but the 2 Wofford guys, David Wiley and Bryce Martinez, they blew me away in their first games.
It was honestly just an impressive performance up and down the lineup. Guys like Josh Tate, Sergio Rivera also did extremely well. But the 2 Wofford guys, along with KJ Alexander, stole the show offensively. And on the mound, too, for the Tom Sox, Kinsler battled through in the first 4 innings of work, struggled, did give up the 4 earned runs, but Jarvis Evans, once again, another masterful performance coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, it goes 5 innings, records 6 strikeouts, only gives up 1 hit, no runs, and he's just been on another level. Talk about a guy that can come out of the bullpen, give you length. I'm sure we'll see him start a game at some point in the coming weeks.
But that'll do it tonight for all of our coverage here at Eagle Field on the campus of JMU. The Charlottesville Tom Sox come away with a 12-4 victory over the Harrisonburg Turks. For my broadcast partner, Nathan Schwartz, I'm Alex Rocco. Thank you so much for spending part of your Friday night with us, and have a great rest of your evening.